Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Shake it, but get pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eyes. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy. Watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, everyone. This is the Bible Guy coming at you live from Northeast Texas. And as you can see, we've got a new setup here on the show today. Look at that. Aren't we super fancy now? Everyone, make sure you are tapping that screen, sharing the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, and with your enemies. Tap that screen like Jonathan wanted to tap King David. Yeah, so I got a new green screen, and also we got ourselves a new camera set up, so things are a bit more HD around here. I'm gonna bring up my first guest, the main guest, the one and only, Ashland. Howdy, Ashland.
Hi, you know you're in the chat, right?
I can't hear you.
On TikTok? You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Are y'all able to hear Ashland?
Hi, Ken. Hi, Eddie.
Uh-oh, something is the matter. 1 second. Of course, first day on, we'd have new tech problems. It wouldn't be a day if we didn't have tech problems. Let's take a look. Well, that might be why. Let's fix that. All right, say something now, Ashlyn. There we go.
Say something. I'm giving up on you.
All right, yeah. I just got to remember. I got new speakers, so the thing is, I have to start switching between them before I go and stream. That's what it is.
You're in the chat. Like your face is under the chat in TikTok.
Oh, well, hello, chat. I hope you like being all over my face right now. Let's see if there's anything I can switch myself up a little bit. Make myself a little bit bigger. How's that?
I mean, you're still predominantly in the chat, but I guess, I don't know.
Oh, well, here we are. Anyways, everyone make sure you're tapping the screen, and let's see if we can get some interesting conversations today about the Bible. I've been itching for an interesting conversation, and I've got some other toys to play with too. We'll see if the opportunity arises. Let's see, just make you nice and neat. There you are, Ashland. All right, maybe later. Anyways, so I got, new toys to play with that hopefully will make this experience a lot more enjoyable, but also, and also like just all around more information. But I already got a super chat to read for the live from let me get the, make sure I'm doing this correctly, right?
At Judeus6533 with the $2. Darius, thank you for all of this wonderfulness. You are most welcome, Judeus.
Most welcome indeed. Now, the new toy that, well, it's not technically new, but it's just something new for us to use here on the live. So, I've got this. And what is this? It's a chalkboard, but it's more than just a chalkboard, because now I have the ability to write in case I need to instruct our illiterate friends in the church about what their Bible says. Sometimes people are visual learners. So now they will be able to visualize all the problems that I have with the book, their Bible. Is this your signature? It's a very lazy version of my signature. My signature is a lot nicer than that. But diagonal for Dalton? Hell yeah. Love to see that. Let's see. Do we have any guests yet? So far, not so many. But Christians, if you disagree with any of the 6 prompts on the board, come on up. Let's have a conversation. I'm here to say that I don't believe the Bible is inspired. I don't think Jesus was the Messiah. I don't think he rose from the dead. I don't think he was God. And the Bible isn't anti-abortion. And the Bible is not a good source for morals. If you are a Christian out there and you disagree with any of these 6 points, come on up. Let's have that conversation. Ooh, nice horns. You're letting your true self come out.
I'm always horny.
Oh, that guy. Gretchen says, you're going to write for the illiterate? Great call, D. Yes, absolutely. Sometimes, especially when it comes to sometimes I like to talk about the Hebrew or the Greek on this channel. And it's important that the guest is able to see exactly what it is I'm talking about. But we got another super chat. Let's take a look. And by the way, the reason I'm not able to show the super chats right now is because, oh wait, it's fixed. So, I guess I can bring up super chats now. Oh, thank Doug. All right.
At FC Baker. With the $2, every time you use the voice changer, I stop watching. Well, FC Baker.
That's fine, because tons of people are still watching even when I use the voice mod. It's fun. Don't hate on the fun. I know this, and you do this because you're super anti-AI, but voice changers aren't AI. It's a completely different technology altogether. So, and also, I use it for 5 seconds at a time at most. Just chill out.
Wait, plenty of regular artists use voice changers. I'm pretty sure Bo Birmingham, I know it, Pablo, what's his name, who's a comedian, uses voice changer. There's a ton of artists who use voice changers
Probably not
to make music.
Probably not Pablo Escobar. You're probably not thinking of Pablo Escobar, am I right?
No, not Escobar. Yeah, I think it's Pablo Francisco. I think he uses a voice. It might be his natural voice, but I know a ton of artists use voice changers to make great art.
Let's make sure that I got these nice and big now that I can make them nice and big. Oops, didn't mean to push that. There we go. Boom, look at that. Big ol'. Oh, you can't see the difference, Ashlyn, because you're on the TikTok, but on YouTube, everyone will see the difference there. But anyways, so he does the movie trailer voice. Who? Me? Fun and playful is good mental health hygiene. Yes, I agree, Dr. Joe. And we're all about fun and playfulness here. I'm always fun. I'm always playful. Except towards bigots. Then I get a little bit spicy. Let's see. What is up, party people? I saw someone saying something about being, what was that, pro-white? What the hell is that all about?
I muted them.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, pro-white is code for something. Oh, well, okay. Well, they're going to come up now. Skeptical cheese. I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yep, I am 23.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
No, I am not. I'm an anti-theist.
All right. And then I'll skip question 3 and go to question 4. What are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. What's this in the comments about pro-white?
No, it's about, how Christianity is an imported Middle Eastern religion. The churches are actively part of the mass immigration that is occurring in Europe. And, it's also just that I don't hate, white people or myself for being white. It's not about hating anyone though. It's just not being, self-hating or anything like that, and wanting, Europe to be European, to be secular and European.
What does this have to do with anything?
I was all for you until you said secular European. Like it's kind of weird whenever people prioritize Europe.
Well, I live in Europe, right? Or, yeah, I live in Europe, so it's not like I shouldn't prioritize Europe.
But like, for example, is there anything wrong with other cultures making their way into Europe and then like people like and then influencing the overall culture?
Sometimes it depends. I wouldn't have a problem with, a lot of Chinese coming. I'm not all that fond of all the, Middle Eastern Muslims or Christian theocrats from sub-Saharan Africa coming in.
As long as they're not imposing their religious beliefs on you, I don't see a problem.
They do impose their religious beliefs. If you let them vote, if you let them become citizens,
Whoa,
if you give them equal rights to the native born.
Whoa.
What? They can't vote now?
Well, no.
How long
if you
before
give them equal rights?
Yeah, how long before we start sending them to camps after that?
I never said that.
But this is the first.
I never said that.
No, but this is the first step. As soon as you start stripping rights from people, you're allowed to like move towards the next step, and that's exactly what they did to the Jews in Germany. They were stripping them of rights.
No, because in France we don't let people wear religious symbols in schools, right? Or they don't, because I live in Denmark.
Well,
Denmark we don't let non-Western immigrants.
That sounds like a problem for those countries.
No, it's not a problem. It's how you maintain a secular environment and prevent them from dominating society. I'm saying
there's nothing that hinders
allow them in.
There's nothing about having a secular society that's hindered by people like wearing crosses or turbans or anything like that in a school.
There absolutely is.
So people just don't get rights in your worldview. Well, you just strip people as long as
it's not about them not getting rights. Do you not think France is a free country?
Not if you're not allowed to like wear clothing that doesn't hurt anyone else.
It absolutely is a free country, and
I disagree.
It's not about them hurting people.
If you're making the claim that
it's about them
that people
imposing their will on others.
Skeptical. What you have to literally force people to conform to your worldview because they have a justification or reason for whatever else that they believe. You want to shove it down their throats. You're no better than the Christians. You're absolutely
I'm right.
no better.
That's what makes me better.
No.
You can't. No.
How does someone wear, like, for example, wearing a turban on their head somehow hurt you in any way?
Well, if you're an anti-theist like I am, then you're against religion. Period.
I don't like religion. I think the world would be better off without it. But also, that doesn't mean that you get to like dictate what clothes people wear. You're no different than a religious person.
Well, you do if you have the votes.
You're not a representation of all anti-theist either. This is an extreme view, even for an anti-theist.
No, this is not extreme. Extreme would be China. I have the basic one of what an average Frenchman believes.
No, because no one.
I basically think that we shouldn't be.
Shut up. Someone wearing a cross and wearing a turban in no way harms you whatsoever. If you are like dictating what people can fucking wear, you're no different than these militant Christians or militant Muslims who are dictating what people can and cannot wear. You're no better than them.
Well, no, because I'm not bombing abortion clinics.
Bye. Yeah. What a piece of shit.
And 99% of Christians aren't doing that either. 99% of Muslims aren't doing that either. 99% of Jewish people aren't doing that either. There is an extreme to every group, and you're part of the extreme of your group that think that they get to literally force people not to practice their cultural beliefs in public.
Yeah, I listen. Maybe it's just the American in me or whatever, the true patriot. But I think that people have the right to, as long as they're not hurting other people, they have the right to do whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, crazy. Anyways, I can't believe I sat here and had to defend. I hate when I have to play the advocate for religious individuals, but like when you're going to have a shit take like that. Yeah. I mean, some people start off super fundamentalist, like religious, and then when they cease to be religious, they just swing into a completely different fundamentalist like mindset. And this is an example of that. Wild. Anyways, on to things that aren't crazy.
At Karen Lynn Wu with the $1.99. Luke, I am your father. Great setup. Let's cook.
Absolutely. By the way, let that be an example to any Christians who come up here that I'm not biased against you as a person. Like, I just sat up here and defended your right to wear religious like clothing and whatnot. Like, I'm just a fair person. Gee whiz. My ex-wife was an ultra Christian zealot. Every day she'd shat on everything I liked as evil. Yeah, it always sucks when you are in an environment like that. I mean, I grew up where I wasn't allowed to have Pokemon cards or read Harry Potter or practice Halloween. None of that, because it was seen as, because, you know, my family was steeped in a church that was deeply influenced by the Satanic Panic. So yeah, I understand. You were going to say something, Ash?
No.
Okay. Pink and Blue Shark says, hi. I wasn't allowed to wear... And then Colette says, I wasn't allowed to wear a peace sign because it's a broken cross. What? What is the actual origin of the peace symbol? Let's see. Even if it's a broken cross, that's such a silly thing. Yeah, I mean, this is all part of the Satanic Panic, of course. The peace symbol originated in 1958 in the United Kingdom and is directly tied to the early anti-nuclear movement. The symbol was created by Gerald Holtham, a British designer and conscientious objector. It was designed for the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, the CND, ahead of a major protest march from London to Aldermaston. The semaphore signals. Holton combined two elements: semaphore signals for the letter N and D, nuclear disarmament. Two flags. But yeah, it seems to have something. It has nothing to do with Christianity. It's about it's anti like nuclear. It's for the nuclear disarmament. It's crazy. So, I guess perhaps your parents heard something from a pastor who heard something from a guy on TV, and then they just ran with it, which is pretty much sums up most of the Satanic Panic.
Dalton, you need to talk to Justin about getting callers on YouTube. This is a like need, not a want.
Yeah, absolutely. This week he's going to be crazy busy with his son, but as soon as things start to slow down, then yeah, absolutely, we're going to be getting some YouTube callers in on here. Because I don't know, the Christians on TikTok don't seem to be all that keen on like having any of their beliefs challenged or challenging my position. Let's see, what was that forced Shabbat? Oh, okay, this is part of a multi message. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, I think things. No TV, no movies, no books. Wow, Christian music only. Forced Shabbat on Friday at sundown to Saturday sundown. Oh, that's Bible study at her parents' 4 times a week. JB, were you part of like the Hebrew Roots movement or something like that? because or Messianic Judaism, because typically not very typical for Christians to be celebrating Shabbat, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, Shabbat is the Hebrew word for the Sabbath. Celebrating Shabbat Friday evening and Saturday, typically mostly of like, yeah, they cosplay Jewish. Yeah, okay, yeah. And for anyone who doesn't know, the Hebrew Roots movement is a group of Christians who cosplay as if they were Jewish or Hebrew, and attempt to live as Hebrews unsuccessfully, I might add. But yeah, and often the Hebrew Roots movement people are extremely into conspiracy theories and also just have really, really bad scholarship on most things. All right. At
Ben Bloodworth with the what is this? With the $9.99 were the accounts of Pontius Pilate in the Bible Roman propaganda. I have found no fault with this man. I wash my hands of this, etc. Or were the texts with these accounts pre-Constantine? Well,
they are pre-Constantine. I'll tell you that much. They are pre-Constantine, but at the same time, they are also meant to like paint Gentiles, non-Jews, in a favorable light, because by the time that the Gospels are being written, there's a large amount of Gentiles who are coming into the fold, and the Gospel writers could be, in some instances, especially the Gospel of John, very anti-Semitic, and often wanted to paint Gentiles in a favorable manner. So having the procurator of Judea, Pontius Pilate, like this innocent, like, oh, woe is me for having to crucify Jesus of Nazareth, it just painted Romans in a very positive light and made Christianity more palatable for a Roman audience. But it is pre-Constantine. Constantine had no effect whatsoever on the New Testament and its writings. Ellie says, I wonder what it's like to religious. I think God is what it's like to be religious. I think God is blatantly false. To be religious. I mean, surely you remember what it was like when you believed in Santa Claus as a kid. It's like that. Except for everyone around you is just confirming your belief in the mythical being. Let's see. Christians, come on up. If you know any Christians and you think that they might be interested in having this conversation, send them this live, and so we can have that conversation. I'm more than interested. Christians, and listen, Christians, I'm going to be nice to you so long as you're nice to me and you're able to answer questions and you don't obfuscate. Then we have a civil conversation. We have plenty of civil conversations on these topics. Let's see. And they are often flirfs. Oh yeah, Hebrew Roots movement people. Yeah, Hebrew Roots movement people. That's the thing. When I was growing up, and I was in my late teen years, I got involved with the Hebrew Roots movement, which is why I know so much about them. And there were people in our group that were proponents of flat earthism. And that whole ordeal with them pushing flat earthism is what led me to start questioning my religious beliefs and moving towards deconstruction. Because even though I believed in a young earth at the time, I was not willing to go and start saying that the earth was flat, because like, what a brain dead position to have. JB says, and if I didn't start going to study and living Christian, my parents were next on God's kill list. Whew. Boy, oh boy. All right, got some more super chats to read.
That's Reason's stance. With the £5 good eye, mate. Christian, Christy, Chris, crying. This is accurate. A lot of Christian crybabies out there. Hopefully there are Christians out there who are willing to talk to us today that won't be crybabies and won't be body shaming and won't be threatening us and will be good examples of love your neighbor as yourself. At Game Master Flash with the $10. W. Duncan and W. Ashland. $10 for question 4. Maybe we are in the end times. If the reference to Nero of 666 could be 616 and 6 plus 1 equals 7, then is 6-7 a sign? Keep killing it.
Oh my gosh, all the kids out there.
6-7. 6-7.
No, it's 6-7.
I'm so disconnected. I don't get it. Is it just meant to be nonsense?
It is meant to be it's brain rot.
Oh, great. We love brain rot. Not. That was millennial brain rot. Anyways,
At Trump failed, haha, with the $5. Love that name. Dude in the comments got called out on slavery in America and said, slavery was persuasive in all cultures. I said Jefferson Davis nuked.
Pervasive.
Pervasive in all cultures. Yeah, like, even if something is pervasive in all cultures, which it isn't, slavery is not pervasive in all cultures, even if it is, that's not an excuse for slavery. That just means human beings have mostly been not very good to one another in the past, and we need to grow the fuck up and end slavery. That's what that means.
I mean, he was a Confederate, so.
Who, Jefferson Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very predominant Confederate soldier.
Yeah, which is wild. I feel irrationally upset when I hear middle schoolers screaming 6-7 to each other. AJ, you're like me. I mean, like, you know, your age is catching up to you, and suddenly one day you're really cool, and the next day you're yelling, "Get off my lawn, you kids!"
Dalton, were you ever the cool kid?
Yes, actually, I was.
You were a cool kid?
In high school. Yes, I was friends with everybody in high school, but I was also a theater nerd, and you know what that means? I was getting laid all the time because that's what theater nerds do. Dr. Ajim says, "OMG, I yell at kids to slow down now." Yeah, exactly. We're all getting old. We're all turning into old people. It happens to everyone. Can't do anything to stop it. Wow, I was literally fucking invisible. JB, to your family? Or were you, because I didn't read a comment, I don't see. Your college was my years. Okay, cool. But yeah. Dalton, can you sing? No, I cannot sing. Not without auto-tune. But you know, I wish I could.
We're a theater nerd that couldn't sing.
I was on the acting part. Now that doesn't mean I didn't. I'm sure there's a videotape out there of me somewhere. For the 5th grade, I was in the Wizard of Oz play, and I did play the Cowardly Lion, and I did have to sing. But it was the kind of singing that you can get away with when you're that young. You can sing in that chipmunk voice. Oh, the Christmas song? Yeah, absolutely.
And that David K. Ruglov with the $20. Appreciate the show. What would you recommend to start studying Hebrew/Greek of the Bible? What keeps your interest in the Bible? Is it the debates that keep the curiosity going? Where do we call in?
So for right now, until I get that fixed, the way to call in is to go onto the TikTok, come and find the channel, and then ask to be a guest. And you can come up and talk. Now, the best methods for learning Greek and Hebrew, the best method is to find a teacher. And a good starting pack is to go onto the Great Courses Plus. It's a subscription-based product like Netflix, but they have courses on almost every imaginable subject you can think of, including they have a video a course on both Koine Greek and biblical Hebrew, but you know, it can take you over a decade if you try to teach yourself to read Hebrew by reading lexicons and stuff like that, which is what I did. It took me well over a decade. It's faster just to get a good teacher, and the Great Courses Plus always hires reputable individuals in their field to teach each individual course. This is not an ad. This is I use it. I've used it myself. Ashlyn uses it too for Greek. It's a really good product. I just believe in it. Denny says, "Woo, the green screen." Yeah, green screen indeed. Now, I'm wondering. It's been 30 whole minutes, and we haven't got a single opposition. So, until we get oppositions in, if you are a friendly and you'd like to come up and have a discussion with us, ask your questions, or whatnot, then ask to come up, because we ain't got no opposition right now. We need to fill the air with something until someone is brave enough to come up and defend their Jesus. Ghost Rider says Christians are scared. It would look like it would seem like that's the case.
I've been told to request that you narrate stuff with your voice changer.
Narrate what? Narrate what?
I don't know. I was just told to ask you to narrate stuff. I was never told what stuff.
I mean, I almost considered reading The Night Before Christmas on Thursday's show with the voice changer, but I never got around to it. Where are the Seventh-day Adventists on the scale of bad to worse? So here's the problem. I don't know a lot about Seventh-day Adventist other than the fact that, unlike normal average Christians, Seventh-day Adventists keep their holiday on Saturday, on the seventh day, as opposed to Sunday. I don't know how much they differ in their doctrine besides that. Although there is a funny there's a funny Family Guy video where there are two guys standing on the corner of a road, and then the first one goes, I'm a born again Christian, and he lists off all his beliefs. And then the guy goes to him, I'm a Christian too, and we believe in everything you do, except for we go to church on Saturdays. And the other Christian just starts flipping out, and like he's like, what a heretic. Oh my god, a funny clip. Just start quoting Morgan Freeman with the God voice. Have you seen the 10 Commandments we have to put up in school? It literally calls women property. Yeah. That's the thing for all my Christian audience out there. If you think the Bible is a source of good morals, well, guess what? The Bible treats women as property. But we do have our first guest for the day. This is not a name that I'm going to be able to pronounce first try. But I'm going to try nonetheless. Tezcatlipoca. Tezcatlipoca? Do you mind if I just call you Tez? They're still loading in, so just give them a vote, everyone. And they disappeared. Well, that was short-lived. Oh, well.
They got offended because you couldn't read their name.
Or was it? Is it meant to be text? Like pronounced like text? Like is it like Mayan? Elizabeth.
I didn't see the name.
Oh, it looked like a traditional Mayan or Aztec, like Quetzalcoatl, like that. There was a typo, Aztec cat god or whatever. Oh, okay. Got another super chat.
At Resistance with the $5 Good night. Good to see you again. Welcome, Haru. How many Chrissies does it take to screw in a light bulb? A trinity, one to pray, one to install, and one to pose.
Oh my gosh, you guys are wild. That's funny. That's good stuff. Love that. Tezcatlipoca. Question mark. Oh, yeah, you were just My connection is bad. Ah, I see. Well, as soon as you get some connection, feel free to come on up and have a conversation with us. How come host dodges Christian apologist debates? I don't. You're more than welcome to come up and debate. How come host dodges Christian apologist debates? What does that even mean? Like, I get Christian apologists who come up here all the time. Like, I wish they would come up here and have a discussion, but they all seem to be too cowardly. The question is, liberals are liberals are R words. Isn't that nice? I'm not going to call you that. And David Wood is doing a call in. Well, David Wood is more than welcome to call in and come onto my show. I don't have enough time in my life to be going up on other people's shows. I got my own job to do over here. But it's crazy that you're not coming up here to talk. Maybe it's because you know you're shit at this. All you can do is be a keyboard warrior. Yeah. It is what it is. Let's see. Do you believe in aliens despite no evidence? No. I don't believe in extraterrestrials. Here, I'm just going to mute you. Liberals are R words because you're gross, first and foremost. And you're more than welcome to come up and talk to me, although I'm not going to call you by your name because that's disgusting. I'll call you something else. But anyways, I don't know. I don't believe in extraterrestrials. Now, I think it's quite possible that there's other life in the universe. It's probably extremely likely, given how easy it is for life to probably form based on all the data presented to us. However, I don't actively believe that any extraterrestrials have visited the planet Earth, because there is no good data to suggest it. Most of what we attribute to aliens is mostly going to be arguments from ignorance. Like, I don't know what that could be, therefore it must be aliens. It's honestly no better than saying I don't know what it is, but therefore it must be God. Do you believe in demonic stuff? I don't. I'm a naturalist. I don't believe in the supernatural whatsoever. I have no good data to support the supernatural existing. What do you think people are seeing in the sky? They could be seeing a number of different things in the sky. They could be seeing experimental aircraft, for example. They could be seeing drones. They could be there's literally an infinite number of things they could possibly be seeing. But until we know what it is, the best thing to do is to say, I don't know. But we do finally have some guests. We got here God's Sword. God's Sword, I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, my brother, I am.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Of course, the only true religion.
Okay.
And true book in the world.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
Enough. But I can always read as much more as I can.
Well,
No problem.
give me a rough estimate.
Let's say at least 80 to 90%.
Okay. And then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
Man.
Well, that's not a pronoun. That's a noun.
How are you trying to define my pronoun?
Well,
My pronoun is man.
but that's not a pronoun. That's a noun. Do you know the difference between nouns and pronouns?
Can you define man?
Man?
Wait, can you? Are you saying that linguistically? Are you saying that linguistically I cannot use the word man as a pronoun?
Correct, because it's not a pronoun, it's a noun. It'd be like if you said to me, if I asked you what are your pronouns and you said jump, well, that's a verb, that's not a pronoun. Man is a noun, not a pronoun. Just say you don't know what pronouns are, and I can give you examples to pick from.
What would your pronoun be?
My pronouns are he, him.
And what does that define for you?
Defines that when people refer to me in the third person, they say he and him to refer to me. So
What
what
does that
pronoun?
mean? He or him? What does that mean?
It's a third.
What's the meaning
it's
behind it or the definition behind it?
oh, it's
Does
me.
that signify
It's me.
biologically
No,
anything?
no.
It's just
Is it biologically
it's just
No.
how
significant?
people use language.
Yeah, and you
That's
also
it. It's
biologically
not that
significant.
deep.
no, it's not biologically significant because you believe God the Father. Does God the Father
Well, we
have?
can say-
Does God the Father have a biology?
So the other guy on the
Does God the
on the
Father?
live, well, he's called a
does
father, right?
does
A father
God
is male. A
does
father
God-
is male.
you
A
you
father
believe
is male paternal.
you believe that
But
God
the
you
other
believe
guy
you
on the
believe
live,
you I don't you believe God the Father is a
the other
biological
guy on the live.
you believe that God the Father is a biological male, that he has like a penis and testicles and a body?
No, male essence, male in essence.
That-
So I'm
that-
asking about the other
so
guy on the
he,
live.
so he doesn't have a
What,
biology. So I don't
what is
care about
his
that.
pronouns?
So
Are your
I don't-
are your pronouns he or
and-
him as
anyway,
well?
and-
Wait, can I have male essence now. I don't know what this is, but I have male essence.
Ashlyn has taken a lot of
sounds
male
like
essence.
I have so much male essence. Sometimes I have male essence in between my legs.
So God's sword.
What I don't. What,
You
So
God.
both of you are
So-
using these
so-
words
so
without
God's-
biological. Wait, 1 second.
You also
using
don't
your arguments, using your logic.
God's sword.
You're using
God's
these
sword.
Words and
God's
pronouns without
Here,
biological
I'll just
reference.
shut up. Listen, you also don't use the word he, him in regards to biological entities because you probably don't believe that God is biological, right?
introducing male essence now in
The
3
word-
different
Are you okay?
bottle sizes.
God's,
Okay.
God's sword. Is God
So, are you
biological?
saying- well, this is the thing.
Here, if you can't
Well,
answer
this is the thing, brother. You're trying to miss.
No, I need you to
I'm
start.
trying to answer your question, and you're getting very
Here,
triggered.
yes or no?
You're getting
Yes
triggered,
or
bro.
yes or no? Is
You're
God?
not, no, I'm not doing a yes or no.
Yes,
you're
you are.
fascistic.
Get,
Look at
is,
you're a
is
fascist
God
now.
biological? Is
Are
God
you a
biological?
fascist?
God is no. This is my show. I'm the dictator on this show. Is God biological?
Well, if you're a dictator,
Hee dictator.
Dictator, I couldn't mute him for some reason, so I had to drop him. But you're more than welcome to come up. But you got to answer my fucking questions when I ask them to you. Like, if you can't have a back and forth where you answer simple questions, then it tells me a lot about what kind of person you are in a dialogue. So, God's sword, yes or no? Is God biological?
you just ran and cut me off with my response.
Is God biological? I think you
When
don't.
the word of God became flesh,
I didn't ask if God.
biological.
Okay, is God the
So,
Father?
in
Is
this-
God the
in this
Father?
time-
Is God the Father biological?
God the Father is not biological.
Okay.
No,
do you?
God the Father is not biological.
Okay,
God the
do
Son
you
became
call-
biological?
Okay,
and the Holy
God the
Spirit is also
I don't
not
care.
biological.
I don't care. I don't care. You acknowledge that God the Father is not biological, yet you call God the Father he and him. So even you recognize on some level that he and him isn't necessarily tied to biology. I can't believe I had to teach you such basic concepts.
However, the essence of God,
God
essence of God, according to the Bible,
is
and
God's
the-
essence
the literature,
biological?
ensures that the nature of God is always put across in a paternal
Is God's
or a male
essence
nature.
biological?
And
Is
therefore,
God's
even
essence
the spirit-
biological?
Even the spirit
Is
of
God's
God.
is God's
But you're trying
essence
to say that-
biological?
You're running, bro. You're
No.
running.
Nobody
Go
is
ahead.
running. You're just
Not answering
just
questions is the
D U
problem.
N
Funny,
B.
he's running.
Like
He's
you're
running.
you donut. Because
I've-
apparently I can't swear at people on here. TikTok doesn't like it when I swear.
For some reason, I'm not able to mute him. I don't know what that's about. But look, God's sword, if you cannot answer simple questions, by the way, this is why God's sword can't answer the question. It's because if he's honest, then he has to recognize that using words like he and him aren't tied to biology, because he uses he and him for an individual who has no biology. So I'll give you one more chance, God's sword. One and only one more chance. And if you do not engage with the conversation, if you do not answer my questions, if you try to overtalk me, then I'm going to drop you and you're not going to get brought back up. It's that simple. It's that simple. So, God's sword. Now that you understand that words like he and him aren't tied to biology, so the question of biology is completely irrelevant. What are your pronouns?
Your presupposition is that the biology and the spirit and the essence of the spirit itself
If you don't
cannot
answer
be
my question,
male or
okay,
female
bye.
when it's presented as male.
Bye.
That $5 word that he didn't. Your presupposition is. I'm like, you're not making a presupposition. You're literally just saying. What are your pronouns? They're not tied to this. You understand this. That's not a presupposition.
And you're not coming back up. I don't care how much you ask. It ain't happening. You can sit there. You listen. I won't decline your request, but I won't accept it either. You can just sit there in the box and listen to me talk. But I'm not bringing you up. So you can either just leave or you can just sit there. I don't care. I don't need you here that badly. Now, to put the answer, God's sword was either going to be he, him, they, them, or she, her. Okay. And what pronouns you use has absolutely nothing to do with your biology. Because your God, I don't care about your God's essence. Essence is a meaningless word. When in Christian theology, essence means absolutely fucking nothing to me. God doesn't have a biology. He don't have a pee-pee. Therefore, he's yet you still call him a he. So, if you don't, maybe tomorrow you can have an opportunity to talk to me, but you don't get an opportunity anymore today. Absolutely not.
I mean, I know what essence is. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, God.
That male essence.
Does God have spunk? Is that what's going on? All right.
That man essence.
All right. We're going to bring up another guest. Hopefully this next guest can actually answer questions and be honest. We'll see. So we got here guest by the name of Ephraim. Ephraim, I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions I ask every one of my guests. These are the 4 questions you have to answer if you want to have a discussion with me. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old? Ephraim. Ephraim, I'm going to need you to respond, or I'm going to have to drop you. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back when your connection allows you to talk. Until then, I'm going to read the super chat. We got N.
That's Trump bailed, haha, with the $2. How many donuts can you fit on it? I'm a solid 2.
On what? I'm not answering that question. There's lots of questions I want to answer. I'm not answering how many donuts I can fit on it.
Okay, but hear me out. The brand of donut makes a difference. Like, is it a cake donut or is it like a Krispy Kreme? Those things are thick.
Thick boys.
Thick.
Yeah, Dr. Jim says, what size are the donuts exactly? How many donut holes can you fit up your... Never mind. No. I can fit a lot. The hole isn't big enough. Coach Ray said, the hole isn't big enough. That's right. That's the correct answer. What about the mini crumb donuts? What's a mini crumb donut? Powdered minis? Oy. I don't have one, but maybe 3, said Brianna. Oh my gosh, you guys are funny. Anyways, Christians. Listen, we got one Christian who came out today.
Wait,
and-
Dalton, I'm gonna send you something. Check your DMs.
Oh God.
And I need you.
On what, Discord?
Yeah, wait, how do I do this again?
We've had one Christian come up, and they were incapable of answering a single goddamn question I asked. Hopefully, there are other Christians out there who can be better examples. At the Bible Guy, guess what? Manor Report came and crashed out. Who's Manor Report? Is that another Christian fundamentalist? I don't know who that is. Paul Heska's "In the beginning was the Word." Yep, that is the opening line of the book of John.
I figured out what male essence was. I sent you a picture of it.
Oh God!
It's appropriate. It's appropriate. It's not a bean pick.
Okay, thank God. It's
y'all.
It's cologne.
He's worried. He's worried. Not. I've never sent him anything that would make him need to be worried, ever.
I've received some dick pics from Ashley in the past.
It was Wikipedia.
Unprompted. No, unrelated. A different time. You don't know Manar? No, I don't know Manar. Are they a fundamentalist? Are their arguments absolute Manar? There we go. Coherent, yes. A purpose for science to understand everything. Paul, Dickopedia. I mean, Wikipedia is Dickopedia. If y'all go look at male penises on Wikipedia, they don't hold back.
Okay. They don't. There are so many photos on Wikipedia. I thought like Wikipedia was school friendly.
Yeah, I know. They were all shapes, all sizes, all states. It was crazy. But anyways, enough about that before anything gets flagged. At the Bible Guy, he threatened to unalive Justin. Justin had him muted the whole live. He crashed out. Oh, Manar, if you want to come crash out over here, well, don't do that. Be an honest interlocutor. Mankind shall advance by means of good intelligence choosing. The tip of the evolution arrow. Well, technically, there's no such thing as the tip of the evolution arrow because evolution doesn't have an ending point. It just continues on and on and on and on and on. Wikipedia isn't an unusable source are public schools. No, it is usable. Well, I don't know how they treat it still in public schools, but there's nothing wrong with Wikipedia because Wikipedia has sources and you can use those sources to go look at, well, the sources.
Yeah, as long as you confirm like the source, it like lists what it is and it lists the sources, so you can just like go to the original source.
All right. Well, we got another guest on the line right now. We got Janitor. Janitor, I'm gonna ask you the same 4 preliminary questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3: how much of the Bible have you read?
I mean, the whole New Testament, most of the Old Testament, the book of Proverbs, most of the Psalms, most of the prophets.
Those are all Old Testament.
Like,
so yeah. And then question number 4: what are your pronouns?
he, him.
All right. See how easy that was, God's sword? So, Janitor, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible Guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board did you want to discuss with me?
Oh, these are great. I think number 4, Jesus was not God. But I would ask a question though. Are you saying Jesus is not God in the sense that you don't believe he is, or you don't believe that the Bible teaches that he is?
Both.
You don't think the Bible teaches Jesus is God?
I do not think the Bible teaches that Jesus is Yahweh, the God of Israel.
He gets about as close to saying that he isn't without directly saying it in John.
Yeah, he's basically like, the basic claims of the New Testament is that Jesus is as close as you can get to being Yahweh without actually being Yahweh.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. Why should I believe that Jesus of Nazareth is portrayed as being Yahweh or that he was Yahweh?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear throughout the scriptures that um, Jesus is God. I think it probably says it in every book of the New Testament.
All right.
Cool. What verse?
Yeah. Give us an
Okay.
example.
What
Um,
book, chapter, verse?
yeah. I guess trying to think of one you guys probably don't hear often.
I hear a lot of it.
I'm sure you're running the TikTok, so you probably get it all. I and the Father are one. Jesus said,
All right.
before
start with,
Abraham was, I am.
let's start with the
I
first
would
one.
go to Revelation. Well, I was going to say I would go to Revelation, where in Revelation 22:13, where Jesus claims that he is the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Specifically, the first and the last part.
Yeah, that's just Jesus is able to take on titles that normally would be attributed to Yahweh because of him being the divine name bearer. So you have to understand a little bit about first century Jewish angelology in order to understand, like, for example, are you aware that there are other angels in Jewish theology which are called, for example, the lesser Yahweh?
Really?
Yeah. So in
Can you
angelology,
show me one from the Old Testament?
well, are you familiar with Enoch? Oh, okay. Well, the angel of the Lord refers to themselves as, it speaks as if they are Yahweh. They're able to say they are Yahweh, not because they really are, but because they're employing what's called divine agency. How familiar are you
My
with
argument would be that's Jesus, though.
well,
Like I
there-
believe that the angel of the Lord from the Old Testament is Jesus, like pre-incarnate.
I
You
know
know
you
what I
would,
mean?
I know you believe that,
So
but there really isn't any data to support that picture. Also, the angel of the Lord is just an angel, and the name of God isn't something inherent to it. It's something that it's being given. The same is true with Jesus. Like
would
Jesus,
you say he's a? Sorry to cut you off. Would you say the angel of the Lord is an angel by his ontology or an angel by his vocation?
both.
See, I would disagree. I would say the angel of the Lord by ontology is God, by vocation is a messenger, which is the word
Well,
melach,
why should I think the
which
angel of
means
the Lord
angel.
is ontologically Yahweh?
May I ask a question? I'm gonna pull up the First Timothy 2, if that's okay, Dalton. Why? Maybe you can explain this to me. Why in
Hmm.
First Timothy chapter 2, verse 5 does it say, "For there is one God, there is also one mediator between God and humankind, Christ Jesus, himself human, who gave himself a ransom for all."
Yeah, I agree with that verse wholeheartedly.
But that means that Jesus isn't God.
Well, I would say Jesus is God because there's other verses like
But
that's
this
Timothy.
says
No, I got you. I believe it when the Bible says that there is one God. Like Deuteronomy 6:4 is like central to the faith that hear, O
Well,
Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one.
that's
There's
not
only one God.
that's not accurate.
there is one God, there is also one
Uh,
mediator between God and humankind, Christ Jesus,
Of
himself
course,
human.
right?
He can't be God and God's mediator. That's dumb.
Why not?
Because then it would just be God mediating for himself.
Yes, yeah. So God, we would say
Then he
that
wouldn't be a
God.
mediator.
We would say that God is the mediator. God as Christ Jesus is the mediator between God, aka the Father, and
But he's
humankind.
human.
it's completely
Right?
convoluted.
Jesus is.
Now,
No,
it,
Jesus is
what
totally
oh,
human
I need you
and
to
totally divine.
I need you first here. I need you to get back on this topic. I need you to show me where
Sorry, go ahead.
ontologically the angel of the Lord is identified as being ontologically the same as Yahweh.
I mean, in Exodus 3, where the angel of the Lord talks. I don't know the exact verse, but when the angel of the Lord talks to Moses from the bush, it's the angel of the Lord
And
speaking.
he
And then a
speaks as
few
if he's
verses down,
Yahweh.
it says it's God speak. Well, it says God spoke from the bush.
Okay, are
So
you
if the angel of the Lord is in the bush, real quick, if the angel of the Lord is the one speaking from the bush, and the scripture says that God spoke from the bush, that would mean that the angel of the Lord is God who spoke from the bush.
it would appear that way if you weren't familiar with like ancient Jewish like understanding of the law of agency. Are you familiar with the law of agency within Jewish culture? in ancient Near Eastern culture.
I mean, I've heard of that. Like people make that argument that you can operate as somebody under their name, under their authority. I've heard people say that. I'm just speaking strictly from the text.
There's examples of this
I
from
don't
the
have a
Hebrew.
problem with that.
There's examples of this from the Hebrew Bible where men speak as if they are the individual who sent them.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying that's not the same as the case for the angel of the Lord. The angel of the
Why
Lord
not?
is identified as God in many situations.
Why? Why not just read it as what is culturally appropriate to the ancient Near East? It's law of agency. Where in the text does it ever tell us that he's ontologically the same as Yahweh, as opposed to being just God's
Where
agent?
in the text does it not?
Well,
Where
no,
in the text does it
in
not?
order- if
Because
you
all
want
it does is
if you
say
want to,
that.
if you want me to believe that the angel of the Lord is Yahweh, you would have to make the argument that he is. Until you can do that, the default position is that he's not, because every other angel in the Bible isn't Yahweh. So if I'm presented with this angel, I also don't have any reason to think he's Yahweh until you can provide a good positive argument in case of this.
But other angels aren't called God though. This angel is.
Well, that's not true.
Where are the other angels called God, like Gabriel and stuff? Where are they called
Psalm
Yahweh?
8, Psalm chapter 8. Here,
Can I see that?
Finish this quote for me. You probably know it. What is man that you are mindful of him, or the son of man that you should consider him? Yet you made him a little lower than the
Angels.
What does it say in the original Hebrew, though?
No, I don't know. Is it Melech?
It's not Melech. It's not Malach. It's not Malach. Melech is king. Malach is messenger. It's not Malach.
Oh,
Malachim.
sorry, you're right.
Psalm chapter 8. We go to that passage here. I'll pull it up real quick for everyone to read. Let's see. If I go to the passage that says, you made him a little bit less than the angels. Here it says you made him a little bit less than God because
I gotta. I'm sorry, I gotta go, but I'm gonna follow you, and I'm gonna try to come back up next time. I gotta go. My bad. I'm sorry.
All right.
My bad. I didn't mean to kill the rhythm of your live. Sorry.
All right. Have a good day.
All right, I'll be back.
Great. Now I've got blue balls. I guess we'll bring up the next guest. We'll bring up Hooper after I read some super chats real quick, and then we'll bring up Hooper.
That's Ben Sephirium with the $2. 1, then 3. Crullers. Is this a reference I'm not getting?
Like the donut crullers? Like counting? Was this about the donut joke?
It's over my head. And at Herbie Shine with the £5. Hello, Governor. Ashland, Derek, and chat. Check out photos of Devil's Penis Chilies. All right.
1 second.
You're gonna do it?
I'm not gonna show, just in case it's something that'll get penis chilies. Let's take a look at this image. Oh, yep, that looks like one. And these are naturally forming chilies. That's wild. They look like little tiny pricks. All right. Well, thank you for that, Herbie. I'll never be able to unsee that. Also, kind of want to taste it. Now we're gonna bring up Hooper. Hooper, I think you've been up here before, but
Hooper's a friendly.
Yeah.
Hooper's a friendly.
Yeah, Hooper. Just so I can get a recap for everyone. Are you at least 18? I don't think you're a Bible believer because you're a friendly, as far as I remember. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. And then, how much of the Bible have you read, and what are your pronouns? Although it doesn't look like Hooper is going to have a very good connection to come up. Nope. I mean, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to come up. While they're loading up, I guess I'll just read another super chat. And
at Optimus Rhymes with the $4.99. When I was a Christian, I said some really dumb stuff, like, I don't believe in science, but I never ever denied pronouns, and I was homeschooled.
Listen, God's sword, if you're still out there, if we got homeschoolers who understand the usage of pronouns and yet you don't, that's a huge problem. These are science denying homeschoolers, by the way, and yet even they knew what pronouns were. Wild. Science, our understanding and explanation of the data by medescent modification. I don't know what medescent means. That's a really $5 word I don't know the meaning of. Brown, what was your question about who was that Greek god with the giant sword? And by sword I mean something else. Yeah, I agree. Dragovius, his name was Kratos, and he's the motherfucking god of war. We don't care about the pronouns. You just don't understand. Scrappy, I don't think you understand is the problem. Pronouns are important. How else is the chat going to refer to this person in the third person without using their name? Pronouns are important. They're in the Bible. They're in our modern and ancient English. We've been using pronouns for fucking thousands of years, my dude. Science itself evolves by means of descent, with modification by means of good intelligent selection. Intelligent selection? I don't think it's intelligent. It's natural selection, not intelligent. There's no mind that's responsible for evolution. It just happens naturally. You cannot smell or see how someone goes for or with. This don't believe the Bible and use is okay. Whoa, Scrappy. This sentence structure is scrappy as hell. This don't believe the Bible and use it okay, but how I refer to myself shouldn't be forced by you. Scrappy, it's not how you refer to yourself, it's how other people refer to you. I'm not asking for your first person pronouns. Everyone uses the same first person pronouns, I and me. It's about your third person pronouns. It's about not how we should force you to refer to yourself, but how do other people refer to you? It's really simple. Like, the only reason Christians fight tooth and nail about me asking them their pronouns is only because, and for no other reason, that they're huge bigots who are huge transphobes. There's no other reason. They can pretend it's for any other reason, but they're just lying. Katie and Dirtbag says, we use the royal Orcish we. We are not amused. Wallace, the autocorrect wreaks havoc on comments. Dragovia says, thank you. You are most welcome. It's the Christian conundrum. I don't have pronouns. Christian conundrum. I don't have pronouns. Saint Tiger, who probably isn't going to come up because they're just going to keyboard warrior all day long, says there's only two groups. They're all men and they are women. Only men and women. Sorry, buddy. Sure, I believe that there are like at least two standard genders that we use. Although some people are like really don't identify with either gender all the way, so that we're non-binary. But if I think it's probably you're thinking about there are only two sexes, which I also don't agree with. I also don't necessarily disagree with. But gender has nothing to do with your DNA, Saint Tiger. Nothing at all.
Gender means DNA.
Yeah, gender.
In what science book?
Yeah, what fucking science book says gender equals DNA? Where's that at? I don't expect them to understand gender. Most of them didn't do very well in high school science. But no, gender has nothing to do with what's between your pants, between your legs. Absolutely nothing. Because again,
if gender is what's between your Hey, I just want to say this to Saint Tiger. If gender's what's in between your pants, then I was your dad last night.
Well, Saint Tiger says your DNA shows if you are biologically male or female. Well, I didn't. Now you're switching terms. Biologically male or female, sure, but guess what? It doesn't tell me whether or not you're like man or woman. All right, enough of that nonsense. I'm going to bring up our next guest, Scott Smith, 1309. Scott Smith, I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir. 58, actually.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Okay, actually, I'm not. I just wanted to come in here real quick with you. I really want you to be able to get some theists in here and everything. I used to be a Christian believer for over 30 years. And
real quick, just because of formalities, what pronouns do you go by?
he, him.
All right, Scott, he, him. Good to meet you. What brings you up to the line?
Oh, glad to be on the show with you today. While I kind of manage like some groups, things like that, and all that, and I run across so many Christians, theists, and people of that nature that have such a serious problem with people who have, different gender identities, and I mean, when I was a Christian, coming up, first became a Christian in 1987, I didn't hear anything about this because I just simply didn't. I just didn't. 1987 was a totally different time, and now basically what I see from Christianity, even if I was still a Christian today, I would still not be this militant, completely subversive, type of person that goes after somebody because they simply have a different sexual orientation, wherever that may be. Even while I was a Christian, I mean, there were people I worked with who were gay. People I worked with, but at the point I had not really met a transgendered person. But then when I started learning more and more about transgendered, people, and also a little bit more about genetic science, I started realizing, okay, you know what? I really do not know about all these things. Therefore, I'm not going to make decisions. I'm not going to advance into areas and try to make, any kind of determination about somebody who has a certain a genetically oriented, sexual orientation. And yet, what I see with Christians today is that they want to go on ahead and make the decision. I mean, within a nanosecond, they want to be able to make a snap, quick decision and say, "No, you're wrong. You are this. You are that." And then when I've heard people, when you ask people who are theists, like, what are your pronouns? Oh, I don't have any pronouns. What? Yes, you do. I'm sorry. Everybody has pronouns whether they like it or not. Yet those people decide to put aside, general reality, and it's just beyond me today that I would say this. I mean, my whole point would be this: if we could bring Christians from like 1970 that have maybe already passed away and bring them to our day and age and show them the Christian society today, what would they think about Christians today? I just wonder what you both and Mitch actually think about this.
Well, I'm sad to say I think that a lot of Christians from back in the day would probably think that Christians today are super liberal, because Christians back in the day were very atrocious. Like, they were very much okay with slavery and very much okay with like
going way back.
Yeah. Yeah, Christians today are super progressive in comparison.
The ones of the 70s too. Remember, 64, a lot of Christians opposed the EEOC.
Right. That's right.
They were cool with segregation, and probably use the N-word.
Yep. Yep.
or some rendition of a racial slur. So I don't see them being much better,
Exactly.
realistically. And what doesn't make sense to me kind of the most is that life is naturally diverse, and for them to think that all people fit within two categories, and then that can accurately represent a species is just absolutely insane to me. Like, life is a spectrum. In fact, diversity is the reason why a species typically like survives. Diversity means that
Right.
there's a lot more opportunity to fit like niche areas, and in that kind of diversity kind of helps populations. So I don't know why they're like opposed to it so much. It's kind of a natural condition of being part of life.
Exactly. Now, I've heard it said by genetic scientists that, like, no one is 100% male or 100% female. Now, that probably doesn't float too well, within the Christian circles. But
Well,
when
what
a genetic scientist says it, I'm like,
Well, think about all the things that would equate to what we think about in terms of like sex categories. And there's like primary, secondary, tertiary sex characteristics in individuals. So
Exactly.
like it could be something as like a receptor agonist not being able to function, or like a lot of the times, as far as I'm aware, there are just like genes that actually are in both, and then then there's another gene that just disables that gene in individuals. And there are like a lot of different categories in which are make us our sex. It's not just one thing, and it's not just found in chromosomes. There are other factors as well. And then we can get into brain. Like if you have a different, like say your anterior pituitary, which is like the thing that controls the signals that send to your gonads. If that signal is disrupted, then you may not get other characteristics. So there's so much involved when it comes down to defining sex, that they think that you can just put it down to genitalia. But genitalia is just one of several aspects in sexual characteristics of an individual.
Oh yeah, exactly. Let's say for something like, well, whenever we see like a poor child is born with a cleft lip or a club foot, things like that. Well, how come everybody doesn't jump up and down and say, well, God meant for that child to be that way? Yet there are medical methods that can convert and help that child to come, to be relieved of that situation. And they don't have a problem with that, but yet they have a big problem with somebody who honestly feels in themselves. Because I have friends that are transgender, friends that are gay, friends that are lesbian. I have family members, that are also of the LGBTQ community. And, myself, I was a Christian for over 30 years. I used to be a Republican, a Trump supporter, all that. I was into all that, and I am no longer any of those things. I've been an atheist now for over 4 years. And I see so much more. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. There's so many things that I see now, and I've gone far beyond the things that I was ever taught in the world of Christianity. Yet the things I was taught in Christianity like 20 years ago was totally different than, I would say, what I would be taught today. There's a very extremely militant attitude. And, in the chat, we've had a few people that they want to present this militant attitude, yet they, of course, don't want to come on board. I don't know why. But I would just say to all theists out there that are in the chat, if you're a theist and you really want to talk about something, come on board, come on down.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Scott, thank you for coming up
Thank
and saying your piece. And a W for deconstruction, everyone.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. I just wanted to come in and help out, and yeah, I will step on out, and I hope that you folks get some more engaging folks. Come on up, Theus. Come on up. The
All
time
right.
is here. The time is now.
All right. Have a good day.
But yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Let's see. Omega Weapon. Let's see. Omega Weapon. Welcome to the board. Yeah, I know you're not opposition. So just so whenever my audience gets a reminder, are you at least 18, Bible believer, and what pronouns do you go by?
Over 18, not a Bible believer, and pronouns are he, him.
Scrappy in the comments says, I agree with this channel's views, but gender isn't one thing we agree on. Scrappy, it's not my problem. It's not our problem that you don't understand how gender works. Gender and sex are not the same thing. Anyways, Omega, what brings you up to the show?
Well, I had a quick syllogism that I think disproves God, at least the general concept of it, and creationism, and I wanted to get your thoughts. But if you're not interested, I'll drop down. It's no big deal.
Oh yeah, I'll hear it. What's the syllogism?
Okay, premise number one. Well, actually, there's something before premise one. That's the definition of God, and most people, including Christians, whoever, what kind they are, precepts, etc., would define God as existing independent space-time and being of the creator and the creator of it.
Well, I would say that is definitely one definition of God, but since God is a social construct, sadly, it just means that there isn't a set definition for what it is, and there are so many different iterations of what deity is and consists of.
All he's saying is something that Christians do actually hold. He's saying he operates outside of time and created
specifically
everything.
the Christian version of God. Yeah, the God of classical theism.
I was about to say
Yes.
classical theism because they think he's timeless, which this would fit.
Yeah. All right. So
Yes, yet they'll say they exist.
going from there. By the way, Jesus loves you 24/7 in the comment section. Don't be a wuss. Come up and have a conversation with me, please. Don't be a keyboard warrior. Anyways, Omega Weapon. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's hear the premises and the conclusion.
Okay, premise one, to even say something exists means it has location in space-time, or you're talking about space-time itself. Premise number two, creation and causation necessarily require space-time in order to happen in the first place and even be coherent. Attached to that is creation is an act, and acts require time. Conclusion, therefore, logically, any God defined as space-time independent and the creator of it cannot logically exist.
Yeah, this is like a really well-known syllogism. You're just saying it in a different way. We simplifies it with change. Change requires time. In order to engage in active creation, there must be change. Therefore, God cannot be outside of time. Like that's a kind of little rundown. Yeah, but that one's like a really, really popular one to disprove any God that's timeless.
Yeah, it definitely dismantles the version of a deity that is like spaceless and timeless. Although if I were like, for example, if I were like a Christian, I wouldn't hold to the idea of God being spaceless and timeless because one, it's not biblical, and two, like you just basically showed everyone, it is logically incoherent. You need time and space in order to perform any action, including creation. If God exists for 0 seconds, he doesn't exist at all.
Yeah, and some of them will tell me, especially the preceptors who I like to argue with, funnily enough, will often cite William Lane Craig's stupid argument about how time can be created, citing simultaneous causation. And I just point out, well, what does the word simultaneous mean? At the same time. So time was created at the same time as something else, that's also
Hugely problematic. Yeah. Uh, I mean, you can possibly say that time worked differently at one point, but to say there was none, I mean, and Christians in the comment section, the Bible never once says that God exists outside of space and time. As far as the Bible is concerned, God exists within the cosmos, within the created order, and he exists in the heavens, which is literally a locale above people's heads.
Okay. Well, thank you. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I just wanted to get your input, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
if you came up with if you came up with that, you came up with something that other people already did, but kudos to you for thinking of it yourself and kind of coming to that conclusion on your own.
Yeah, I know I've heard some of those arguments like that before, but wasn't sure if it was put together in like a specific syllogism that way.
Top, thank you for the follow.
Yeah. No.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot for your time. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good day, Omega.
Bye.
You too.
Omega is super alpha. I had to say it. Now I want to read some super chats, and hopefully there are listen, I'm seeing so many Christians in the comment section right now, and none of them have the cojones to come up and have a conversation. I think it's because it's easier, like, for example, Jesus loves you 24/7. It's easier to sit in the comment section and type away, a lot harder to actually have your views questioned in real time, because you might end up finding out that I might know the Bible better than you. Someone's saying I should do a restart, TikTok restart. What do you think, Ash?
It won't reset your YouTube, will it?
Nope.
It might get you more Christians in here.
Yeah, for all the TikTok audience, we're going to go ahead and do a quick reboot on TikTok. Don't worry, people on YouTube, you won't see any change. But yeah, we're going to do a quick restart. Hopefully Jesus loves you 24/7. You'll actually, come up and have a discussion instead of just type away. But I doubt it. Anyways, we'll see you guys in just a quick second in live. Now that they're gone, let's talk nasty about the TikTok people, guys. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. We love our TikTok brethren. Wouldn't be here without them. All right, let's see it. There we go. Little reboot. And hopefully we'll see some opposition. Are you opposition? Just kidding. You're someone's opposition.
The Jesus was the Messiah.
The Jesus was the Messiah. Love the usage of the definite article there. By the way, the thing that I've been saying about John 1:1c being qualitative and not indicative of identity, I found the same exact thing being said in my Greek grammar book about John 1:1c. So that's a Christian source, guys. Take that. Okay. Let's see. Now I'm going to read some super chats. Let's take a look and see what we got going on over here.
At Judaeus 65:33. John, or the $2. John chapter 18, verses 5 through 6. Are you better than Jesus?
And let me guess. This is an example of Jesus using pronouns. Let me see. Let's take a look. John chapter 18.
I am he.
Oh,
that's the I am he verse.
Oh yeah. When he said to them, "I am he," they drew back and fell to the ground. Wow. If Jesus can say, "I am he," and these Christian mogs can't, wow. I guess they think they're too good for pronouns, even though Jesus wasn't. Crazy.
Hold on. Jesus loves you.
Yeah.
Jesus loves you said, I don't need to come up on the panel. You just need to reproof and read scripture. We should read, what is it, Job 13:5?
It would be better if you would remain silent, for that would be your wisdom. Yeah, I know the Bible better than you. Jesus loves you 24/7. And if you really knew the Bible that well, you would know that sometimes God doesn't love people. Go read Psalm 5:5. God hates those who work iniquity. I do iniquity. Guess what? God hates me according to the Bible. So fuck off with all that nonsense. You deny reproof. So do you.
We have a guest.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, we got our first guest for the for this session of the live. So real quick, let me just take this off. All right, we have here King of Knives. Hello, welcome to the live. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I'm going to ask you 4 preliminary questions. I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Yeah.
Question number 3: how much of the Bible have you read?
All of it.
Question number 4: what are your pronouns?
I'm him.
You go by he, him? All right. King of Knives, he, him.
Yeah.
I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board did you wish to discuss with me? Just pick one.
Numero uno.
All right. The Bible is not inspired. Why should I believe that the Bible is inspired?
Well, you have to give it its due credit on history.
Oh, you don't want to go there, bud. I don't believe the Bible is
I
inspired because...
I do want to go there, actually.
All right.
Actually.
I have a question for you then. Okay. A couple of questions. Question number 1: was Jesus of Nazareth born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
He was born in 0 AD.
That's not what I asked you. I asked...
it doesn't matter. That's when he was born.
No, but he just came up with 2 that both of those are in the Bible.
It's fact, though, but okay.
Not according to your Bible. It's not. There are 2 dates in the Bible. That's neither of them.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away yet. First and foremost, there is no such thing as 0 AD. It goes from 1 BCE to 1 CE. There's no 0 date. Now, the question I asked you was not what year was Jesus born. I asked you, was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
I know this argument. I've heard it before. So I know you're going to say.
Well, if you're an honest individual, you can just answer the question without any worry if the truth is on your side. So was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
So the Bible says it word for word, correct? And what verse is that? Can you bring it up for me so you remember it?
Yeah. Matthew chapter 2, verse 1. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of who?
Yeah.
So was Jesus born during the reign of King Herod the Great?
According to this, yes.
All right. Do you know when King Herod the Great ruled Israel?
Tell me.
He ruled Israel from 40 BCE, or BC, if you will, to 4 BCE. He died in 4 BCE.
Okay.
So if Jesus was around 1 to 2 years old when the infants of Bethlehem were murdered, that means Jesus was born sometime between 6 to 4 BCE, according to the Gospel of Matthew. Now, my next question to you is, according to the Gospels, was Jesus born during the census of Quirinius?
Okay, show me that verse too.
In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be enrolled. This was the first enrollment.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Okay.
When Quirinius was the governor of Syria. Do you accept that Jesus was born during the census of Quirinius?
Sure.
Okay, here's the problem. The census of Quirinius took place 10 years after King Herod the Great was already dead. Unless Jesus crawled back up into his mother's vagina and was born 10 years later, it's a chronological impossibility for these to both be true.
Perfect. You're picking such a small window, 10-year period between 4 BC and 6 AD. Okay, roughly in that time zone, we know he was born.
Well, so here's the problem.
Like give or take a year there. What's your point? Like
here's the problem. All of the circumstances of each of the nativity stories hinges on these 2 chronological facts. Like in the Gospel of Matthew. No, it's important. You'll see why. In the Gospel of Matthew, why does Jesus even go to Egypt as an infant?
Because they were looking for all like the firstborn.
Who?
the kings, they want to like get the Messiah before he grows up.
Specifically, it's King Herod. King Herod seeks to destroy the infant Jesus.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
Jesus
according
isn't
to the Bible, yes.
Yeah, if Jesus isn't born during the reign of King Herod the Great, then none of this could possibly happen because King Herod's the one who issued the decree according to Matthew. Now, the problem with
Okay, so what's the point here? What's the point?
well, the Bible's not historically accurate. Jesus can't be born.
No,
during-
you're limited to 10-year period. Hold on.
No,
You
okay.
actually narrowed it down very close.
No, why does Jesus go to Bethlehem in the first place, according to Luke?
To escape the tyranny, man.
No. According to the Gospel of Luke, Jesus goes to Bethlehem because of the census. That's the whole reason that they're in Bethlehem in the first place. This was it says here, and
What about?
And all went to be
Hold
enrolled.
on.
Wait,
Time
wait,
out.
not time out. Wait, I'm gonna read this real quick. And all went to be enrolled, each to his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, from the city of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house of the lineage of David, to be enrolled with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child. If Jesus is born during the reign of King Herod the Great, like the Gospel of Matthew claims, then he can't be going to Bethlehem because of the census.
Like it's very, very like close. It's within a 5 to 10 year period.
It doesn't
for
matter
sure.
if you think it's close. The problem is either Matthew's events did not happen because Jesus was born during the census, or Jesus didn't go down to Bethlehem for the census because he was born 10 years too early.
King, this isn't horseshoes or hand grenades. This is describing history. And you claimed this to be the reason that the book was inspired, but it doesn't get any of the story straight. The reasons why are different.
Any
the
of the
years
story
are different.
or one small point?
The
This is not
nativity
small.
scene is like all of it.
No,
This is-
it is in the whole spectrum of the Bible.
It's a whole chapter.
It's
of
the
the Bible.
whole reason.
It's a whole chapter of the. It's a whole chapter of the gospel of each gospel, which is utterly incorrect.
I got your point. Okay, was Jesus a real man?
Yeah, but he wasn't. Well, he either wasn't
When was
born.
he roughly born?
We don't know.
Okay, give me a rough estimate within 5-10 years.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Okay, so how are we living in 2025 AD, my friend? Explain that one.
Okay, the calendar argument. I'll say this again for the entire. I'll say this again for the entire audience. The calendar argument is the worst argument for Christianity because all the calendar argument tells us is that we live in a culture where Christianity has been the most predominant religion. All that tells us, the fact that we live in 2025 AD, if you go by that reckoning of time, is that we live in a culture where Christianity became most popular. It doesn't tell us whether or not Christianity is true, only that it's popular. And it's also wrong because if the Gospel of Matthew is correct, then Jesus wasn't born 2025 years ago. If the Gospel of Luke is correct, then Jesus wasn't born 2025 years ago. And you made the claim that the Gospels are historically accurate, yet they cannot both be accurate in regard to Jesus' birth.
No, I got you. I got your point.
Yeah, we know
You're trying to be like,
because we
if
know
the
when
Bible-
these
you know what?
people.
Can I speak now?
Sure, go
Can I
ahead.
speak now? Okay. You're trying to like make it. You want it like the day, the year, the this. I understand you want precision and some validity.
It's not just
to what you
about.
read.
It's not just about precision. It's that the events of the Gospels cannot. The Gospel of Luke events cannot take place if Matthew is right, and the events in Matthew cannot take place if Luke is correct. It's not something minor. It means that you have to either throw out Matthew or throw out Luke's nativity. They both cannot happen.
Well, we know there was a King Herod when he was born.
Yeah, well, no, not if Luke is correct.
Well, we also know that. Hold on, we know there's Pontius Pilate when he was growing up too.
Well, no, not when he was growing up. Pontius
When he-
Pilate.
no, no, when he grew up, sorry, when he grew up,
Pontius
when he grew up.
Pilate. Yeah, Pontius Pilate didn't become governor of Judea until 26 CE, and he only
Yeah, I got
remained.
you, I got you.
And here's the problem: he only remained governor of Judea for 10 years till 36 CE. But if the Gospel of Luke is correct, and Jesus was born during the census of Quirinius, which was in 6 CE, and the Gospel says that he was 30 years old when he began his ministry, and his ministry lasted for 3 years, that would place Jesus' crucifixion date around 39 CE, 3 years after Pontius Pilate is no longer governor of Judea. These are all rife with inaccuracies.
you're giving a 3-year window. It's not that crazy off.
It is crazy off. If you're gonna make the claim that the Bible
No, it's not.
if you
Because
want
Devin said it was compiled.
if you want to retract your point and say, well, maybe the Gospels aren't entirely historically accurate, then we can like give you some leeway. But when you make the claim that they're historically accurate, but they keep getting history wrong, then I can't hold to the idea. Okay. Also, the census under Quirinius. That's it. Also, Luke gets that wrong. Luke portrays the census of Quirinius as if it's like an empire-wide census. It wasn't. Quirinius' census was only for the people of Judea. It would not have affected people living in Galilee, which is according to where Luke. It was where Jesus' family is from.
I got you. Like the funny thing is, like a lot of these debaters, they want to be so like this is
Accurate?
100% like. Yeah, no, exactly. I want to be accurate too.
Yes,
but
I want
like,
to be accurate.
They want to. Yeah, I understand. They want to give more credit to other philosophers and historians, but not so much the biblical one.
I hold every ancient text to the same standard.
Wait. None of the people that wrote the Gospels, which by the way we do not know, are not philosophers nor historians.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like a lot of people want to be like, oh, we know.
We also have the benefit of actually knowing when they existed for like the most part. Like when you look at like Socrates, like we know who their predecessors were. They had contemporaries. Jesus, we don't have a single contemporary account for this. All we have are 4 anonymous sources. It's not very good evidence in sources that contradict each other for several accounts, like the nativity, the resurrection,
the crucifixion,
like all of it. Crucifixion, all of it is a contradiction. It's not historically accurate because it contradicts, and contradiction of things do not exist. Contradictions are false.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. I just want to take a step back and like let's look at like creation. Okay. We live in a very, very intelligently designed world.
So we're not talking about history anymore. You want to pivot to
creationism. We can. No. Okay. Let me tell you my 1-2s on that last one. Okay, I'll close it off on this one. So with the history, I'm going to tell you all you really did to explain today was you narrowed it down to a 5-10 year window.
No,
and it gets a little murky there.
No,
that's all you really did.
Like, okay, why does Jesus' family go to Bethlehem?
Remind me again.
According to the gospel,
for the census.
Yeah, the only reason they go to Bethlehem in the first place is because of the census. If it's not for this, if they're not living during
what's your point though? Like,
if Jesus is
living, Jesus is not the Messiah.
Wait. Well, that's a different point altogether. We'll get to that if you want to.
That's the culmination of the point.
Well, there's a whole reason why Jesus is the Messiah. It has nothing to do with what I'm saying right now. This is just a whole nother problem of itself. Now, if Jesus is living during the time of the census and ends up in Bethlehem, okay, then he cannot have run away from King Herod the Great, and the infants of Bethlehem could not be massacred by King Herod the Great because he's already been dead for a decade at that point.
Like I said, 5 to 10 year window, it gets a little murky.
It's not murky. It's not murky. We know when these things took place, and that's why the Gospels cannot.
But we know
when
he was born.
We don't. Was he born in 6 to 4 BCE when Herod was alive, or was he born 10 years later? Okay. Doesn't matter if it's general.
What's the general? Okay, hold on.
The general consensus that he was born perhaps in the late 1st century BCE or the early 1st century CE. But guess what?
That's exactly puts you at a year ago.
Well, no, that doesn't. I didn't ask for if it was approximate. You made the claim that the Bible is historically accurate, yet the book of Matthew and Luke gets a bunch of history incorrect.
Yeah, but the whole lineage of the Bible is the history. The history is in the Bible, so it speaks for itself.
You don't want to go through lineage because the
lineage,
the nativity stories also give us 2 genealogies for Jesus that also contradict each other.
That one is very easily debated, and I debate with my Muslim friends in downtown Toronto.
No, it's not. Okay,
I'll tell you what it is.
Who's Joseph's father?
Can I explain?
Who's Joseph's father? Who's Joseph's father?
Can I explain? I'm going to get there.
Who's Joseph's father?
I'm getting there. So the lineage, there's two different lineages, correct? And they're saying, oh, why is there two different lineages for the same
It's
person?
not anything to do with Mary.
It is actually. If you Google it, and you'll see the whole family tree.
Google
If
it.
you
Google it
Google
right now.
it, guys.
Okay, hey,
Just
here-
Google the
here-
picture.
Don't
bring it up on the
actually
screen.
read
bring it up
read
on
the
screen.
book,
Be
guys.
authentic.
Don't
Bible guy, be
read the
authentic.
book.
Here,
Bible
Don't
guy,
read
yeah,
it.
pull it up on the screen.
Google
No.
it.
We're gonna
Because
open.
it's because the book.
Come on,
no,
like
no,
you
hold
don't
on,
use
hold on,
Google.
Dalton.
Don't be even
Hold
like
on.
that.
I
Don't
don't.
be
hold on.
like
I
that.
don't get
Hold
my
on.
information
Why
from Google.
Google. Oh.
Hold on, shut up, King. Don't trust the Bible, the one that's inspired by God. Trust Google, the one that isn't inspired by God, is what King just told us. So the book is the inspired thing. This is the point he's arguing. Remember, that's the point. But don't actually use the book that is supposedly
Well, I made a
inspired.
point. I just said Google it. Like,
No,
what?
we're not-
What?
well,
You never.
I don't fucking trust Google, Knives. Because guess what?
No,
if
but
shut up.
Wait, what?
If I go to Google and ask a question, it's going to give me an AI overview, and the AI overview is going to be pulling from all kinds of sources, including Christian apologetic sources. I don't trust Christian apologetics; they're car salesmen of Christianity. I go for the scholarship. Now, when the scholarship goes to the primary sources, the primary source in this case being the Gospel of Luke, according to the Gospel of Luke, Knives, who is Joseph's father? Where does it say anywhere in this genealogy that it belongs to Mary? I want textual evidence.
It doesn't specifically say it. It doesn't specifically say it.
Oh, all right. It's only Mary's genealogy if we put words in the text that aren't there.
I know, but can you look it up? Can you actually
I've
look
already
it up?
looked it up.
Hey, Dalton.
Well, I looked it
Doesn't-
up too, but we got two
Dalton,
different answers.
Dalton, doesn't the Bible, isn't there like this verse that says not to add or take away from the text?
It
Yeah,
does.
the last page of the Bible. Last
Oh,
page.
oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
To be fair, that's only a warning against the Book of Revelation, not the entire Bible, because the authors of the Bible don't know anything about there being a Bible.
each other. But
Now-
but he doesn't think that.
Oh, yeah, maybe he might be wrong on. Yeah, he might have a misunderstanding of that Bible verse. Then that's always true. Now, if you want me to believe that either of these genealogies belong to Mary, you're going to have to show me from the Gospels where it says that. I don't go to Christian apology. Well, that's contentious. But again, I didn't ask if you, I didn't ask if you can trace it back to David. I asked you
No, but is King David real, yes or no?
he was probably real, but he wasn't like the King David from the Bible. Now the question is, where do the Gospels say that this genealogy belongs to Mary? If you can't show me from the text, I don't care what some apologist says. I only care what the Bible says.
Okay. Well, could you look up the chart for me so I can better explain it?
I don't need the chart. I have the Bible.
I know, but can you just show me this chart on screen so I can just explain it better?
I can show you a chart from a Christian apologist. Is that what you want?
It's like it's either I read words on the page or I see it into a graph. It's the same thing.
No, if I'm going to pull up a graph, I'm going to find a biblically accurate graph, and you're not going to like it.
It is. It's word for word. Whoever you read there is it's in a bracket.
Well, no. If it inserts Mary into the text, okay. If it's word from the Bible, then show me where in the Bible is an appearance in the genealogy.
So that verse is just like there, right? And it doesn't really have a too much of a reference to it.
Wow.
But from what I've understood and read, that is like the Mary's lineage, and then because like the Muslim debaters always like to get me with that too.
We're gonna read the Bible, guys. We're gonna read and see what the Bible says, not what the Christian apologists online say, because we don't trust Christian apologists around here. Luke chapter 3 verse 23. Jesus was about 30 years old when he began his work. He was the son, as was thought, of Joseph, the son of Heli, the son of Mathat, the son of Levi.
Yeah, I know this one already.
Yeah, where's Mary? Where's Mary at?
It doesn't say it specifically. I already told you.
Okay, then I don't give a shit what your graph says. If it doesn't comport with what the Bible says, I'm not going to believe it.
So your ultimate conclusion is that your ultimate conclusion is that there's two lineages and one's right, one's wrong, but you can't tell me which one's right, which one's wrong.
Well, I don't think.
Or they're both wrong.
Yeah, I don't think either of them are right. I don't have any reason to think that these are accurate.
If you actually trace them back.
Hey, King, we don't believe this book is real.
Well,
we
we
don't
need to-
we don't
Don't-
Now-
why do we
Well, there was no
care?
Israel
This
then.
is your
You're not even in the same
responsibility.
bracket.
And-
You're
Hold
the
on, time
one.
out.
You're the one to try and show us
No,
that the
you
Bible is inspired. Well, you're just going to say one or the other, or neither. We don't care. This is not our burden. It's your burden. You're the
I
one
got
who's
you.
trying to demonstrate
I got you.
this.
I
And
got
there's,
you.
and there's another huge problem.
I know, but what?
Wait, there's a huge problem with no matter which genealogy you pick, Jesus is automatically disqualified as the Messiah, because if you pick Matthew's genealogy, then it's David through Solomon, but all the way through Jeconiah, and Jeconiah's lineage is cursed. No one from the lineage of Jeconiah can be king over Israel, according to the book of the prophet Jeremiah. If you pick the Gospel of Luke, it's David through his son Nathan, and it's not through Nathan that the kingship belongs. It's only through Solomon. So the kingship belongs. It's only through Solomon. So either way, you're fucked.
Okay, did they really live like Solomon and David? Yes or no? Give me 100% or 0%.
Well, David probably existed. We have references to the
What's it probably?
We
Because
we have a
Bro,
reference.
you're making like 1 + 1 is 3.
Okay,
No, he existed.
I
Go move
don't
on.
think you know how history works. Now, we have references to the house of David outside of Israel. So the house of David exists, which probably means there was a David. But did David kill Goliath? Probably not. Even the Bible can't agree as to whether or not David killed Goliath. So that's another historical problem, is that the Bible makes claims about 2 different people killing Goliath. So like, I don't have any
There was
reason.
more than one Goliath. You realize that, right?
No, I have no reason to think that there were more than one Goliath. Who both happen to be
Well,
giants.
there is giants in the Bible. If you actually read the Bible, guy, you would know there's giants in the Bible.
I know that there are. I know that there are giants in the Bible. I don't have any reason to think that there are 2 giants who happen to both be named Goliath, who are both Philistines.
Goliath is not a name. It's like a title, man.
It's a name.
There's a lot of Goliaths out
It's
there.
Goliath is a name.
Anyways, Goliath, and we know is a word that means like big, whatever. Anyways, we know there was giants. Okay.
Well, we
We
don't.
know that-
I don't
wait,
believe
wait,
that. I don't
back to
think.
the back- wait, wait,
I
wait,
don't
wait,
believe there were giants.
second.
That's just myth.
1 second. Okay, Ash said we don't believe Israel's real, and then she referenced Joseph.
Whoa.
Well, guess what?
I didn't say that.
Whoa!
Yes, you did.
You weren't
Yes,
listening.
you did.
No,
You
I
weren't
I have it all
listening.
recorded.
If Ashlyn, don't put words in Ashlyn's mouth.
Oh,
If there's any,
I never
I'll
said
flip-
that.
the nation of Israel obviously exists. The ancient Israelites obviously existed. Now, the person Israel, who was named Jacob, probably didn't exist. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob probably didn't exist. They're mythical. They're mythical individuals.
I'm gonna clip it.
I said
And she
Moses
said-
wasn't real.
Yeah, Moses wasn't real.
You said we don't believe Israel's real. You said it word for word.
Moses. I
Moses.
never
I didn't
said
talk about
Israel.
Moses.
Unplug your
Okay,
ears.
well, I'm telling you now.
No, I'm not saying Moses. I'm saying Israel. You said Israel. We don't believe
I
Israel's
did
real.
not say that.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and see.
You do
Okay,
that.
have fun. It's recorded.
Yeah, it'll be on my channel.
Anyways, let's go back to the history because
All right.
I love history and I want to learn more.
Here's a history question for you. Who was the father of King Belshazzar?
You think I'm gonna know that one off the top of my head?
Why not?
Or just tell me.
Daniel chapter 5 tells us it's Nebuchadnezzar. Is that historically accurate?
You tell me.
Well, it's not. We know who. Not only was Belshazzar not the son of Nebuchadnezzar, he wasn't even related to Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar's son, who succeeded his position, was Amul-Marduk, who some Bible translations refer to as evil Marduk. And then Amul-Marduk wasn't succeeded by his son. He was succeeded by Nebuchadnezzar's son-in-law, Nerigalessar. And then Nerigalessar was succeeded by his son, Labashi-Marduk. And he was succeeded not by his son because there was a coup. And the final king of Babylon, Nabonidus, succeeded him. And Nabonidus' son Belshazzar was never king of Babylon. He was only the vice regent. So when the book of Daniel makes the claim that he was Belshazzar was king and the son of Nebuchadnezzar, these are both false.
Okay, Dalton, Chad is saying your mic is hot. Turn down your.
Yeah. I'm hot. Anyways, so that's another example of where the Bible is historically inaccurate. But which is not to be surprising because the book of Daniel wasn't written by the fictional individual named Daniel.
No, but if you if you think about it logically, are you going to throw out the whole Bible because you're one or two or three are
Well,
off? Like because the
no.
history continued. The
No,
people of Israel prevailed, and they're still here today.
I'm going to throw out. Well, first and foremost, I'm not going to get into that right now. I throw
that's
out.
what I mean.
I throw out the
That's what I
I
mean.
throw out the New Testament because Jesus wasn't the Messiah. He didn't fulfill a single messianic prophecy.
Except for being born in Bethlehem and a virgin and dying on the cross.
Neither.
Yeah, I guess
Here,
so. He didn't do that.
okay. Stop gish galloping. Stop gish galloping. Name me one prophecy that Jesus fulfilled in the Old Testament. We'll go and read it.
Born of a virgin in Bethlehem.
All right. Well, that's
Okay.
those are two
Messiah.
different- Those are okay. Stop.
Messiah.
Stop gish galloping. Name.
I'm not gish galloping. I'm naming
yes, you
it
are.
off.
No, when you list off a bunch of shit and are successively like that, that's called gish galloping. I tasked you to name one prophecy that he fulfilled. That doesn't mean fucking answer a bunch of different alternatives. I said name one. Now you've made the claim that the Old Testament prophesies that the Messiah would be born of a virgin. Where do you think that is?
I got to look it up.
I'll just tell you, it's Isaiah 7:14.
There's more than one.
Nope. There's only one prophecy. Well, in Christian Bibles.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure. There is nowhere else that Christians point to say Jesus was born of a virgin. It's only Isaiah 7:14, but it's incorrect. I'm going to read Isaiah 7:14 now. Isaiah 7:14, when properly translated, therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son and shall name him Emmanuel. Your Bible's going to say a virgin shall conceive, but the original Hebrew doesn't say that.
Are you in New Testament or Old Testament?
I mean, the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, that's the only place where you find messianic prophecies is in the Old Testament.
Okay. What verse is that again?
Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14.
Okay, I see it.
Oh no, Dalton. He doesn't know where messianic prophecy is.
Well,
here, here we go. Isaiah 7:14. Now, the Hebrew word for virgin is the Hebrew word Betula. This is Betula, means virgin. The word Betula does not occur even once in Isaiah 7:14. Instead, the word we see here, it says in the Hebrew, Hine, behold.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw.
That's for you, Dalton.
Ha'alma, the young woman, Hara, is pregnant. Hine ha'alma hara, behold, the young woman is pregnant. The only way you can make this about a virgin is if you mistranslate the verse, because first and foremost, this doesn't mean virgin. And this right here doesn't mean shall conceive, and in future tense, it means is pregnant, present tense. The young woman is pregnant. The only way you can make it say a virgin shall conceive is if you mistranslate it.
I got you. I got you on
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
that. Well, Kate, from the understanding of the Bible and the Old Testament and the prophets, they were all waiting for a Messiah to come.
Yep.
Okay.
And Jesus didn't fulfill a single. Prophesies that the Messiah will be crucified.
The Psalms 22, I believe.
Whew, I knew you were going to go there, and you're not going to like this.
Yeah,
bud.
you know that one. You're ready for this one.
Yeah, you're not going to like this, bud.
And Isaiah too. What was the shield? Say again. One second, my friend's on. Say it.
Psalm chapter. Here, let me pull up.
You know, that famous prophetic poetry.
Yeah, that famous book of prophecy, the Psalms. By the way, just so you know why we're laughing at that, the Psalms aren't prophecies, bud. They're poetry. Now, if I go to Psalms, let's see, let's open up Psalm chapter 22.
There's one in Isaiah too, I believe.
Well, we'll one at a time, bud. One at a time. I gotta cook you one at a time. All right.
Yeah.
Verse 16 is probably what you're thinking of, right? Where it says, They in your Bible they pierced my hands and my feet.
Yes, that one, and there's another
Yeah.
one too. My friend's looking.
Here's the problem. Isaiah 20 Psalm 22 verse 16 or verse 17 if you're reading a Hebrew translation. The last 3 words in the Hebrew is Ka'ari Yadai V'Reglai. Yadai means hands and V'Reglai means my feet. Ka'ari doesn't mean to pierce. It means like a lion. They are like a lion at my hands and my feet. It doesn't say pierced. Your Bible mistranslates it wrong. And you know how I can actually demonstrate to you from your own Bible.
Okay.
From your own Bible.
Wait. Let me define.
Wait,
it for
did he
you.
say he has KJV?
I have everything, but I didn't really say. But anyways, did Jesus the man die on the cross? Yes or no?
Yes, but that wasn't
We don't
prophesied by
know.
Okay, that's it.
But that doesn't it doesn't matter. Lots of people were crucified on
Sure they did.
crosses, but guess what? There's not one single prophecy about a Messiah being crucified on a cross. Because Psalm 22 verse 16, first and foremost, not about the Messiah. It's about King David. The very first opening words are Mizmor le David, a psalm for David or about David. And it says not they pierced my hands and my feet, but they are like a lion at my hands and feet. That's King David describing his enemies at his hands and feet. So no.
Yeah. So the thing I'll tell you this. The thing about the Bible is that it's written as a prophecy, but it's not actually like this is a prophecy and then there go. It's like it's written,
But
it's woven
there
into
are
the scripture.
prophecies in the Bible. So why
Yes,
are
there is.
those
There is. Because they're there for specific reasons, but there's other stuff that's woven into the Bible.
You heard it here, folks. Even though these passages aren't actually prophetic, we can just make them prophetic and therefore make them about Jesus.
Oh,
even
no.
even
Guess
though,
what? But hold on,
even though the literary context tells us explicitly that it's about King David and not about the Messiah. But you know what? Just
Okay.
fuck the Bible,
But
right?
the Bible, no. The Bible is the only book that has like I think the most cross references in the world. It's like 36,000 from the old to the new.
Cross references.
Do you-
that
do
cross
you-
reference
do
chart
you get-
means
Yes.
nothing.
Do you get your
How?
apologetics from the
How?
back of cereal boxes? Because that's
Wait,
how
no.
bad
How does it
they
mean
are.
nothing? How does it mean nothing? though?
Because
Define that.
because King, were the authors of the New Testament aware of the Old Testament?
Yes.
All right. Therefore, when you find cross references from the Old Testament and the New Testament, it's because the fucking authors of the New Testament were aware of the Old Testament and they wrote it in such a way that it referenced the Old Testament. Guess what? J.K. Rowling's
Exactly.
later books
Yeah.
reference the earlier books. That doesn't mean it's fucking designed. I mean, that's divinely defined design. All it tells us is that the authors were aware of previous books. But guess what? The authors of the New Testament misquote the Old Testament all the time, and the only way you can make it to where it actually isn't a misquote is if you have this like this idea that there's like a secret meaning that only the those who have the Holy Spirit can understand. But unless you are appealing to magic, all we have is a historical and literary context of the text, and what does the text actually say? And when you actually look at what the text actually says, Jesus didn't fulfill prophecy.
That's very, very tough because honestly,
Yeah, if you're making shit up, it's gonna be tough to rebut.
I'll tell you this. You're making great points. You're very like picking apart the Bible to get the most out of it, and I understand that. But you have to understand the Bible is about 2,000 to 3,000 years of history,
I'm
and it shows.
aware. I'm
Hold on,
aware of the
Dalton,
history of the
someone
Bible.
in the YouTube, someone in the YouTube chat said, "Well, Jesus did fulfill Deuteronomy 13."
Oh yeah, the prophecy about God will send false prophets.
I always forget.
God will send false prophets to test you. Yeah.
And they will be put to death
Yeah.
because for having spoken treason against the Lord your God.
Maybe Jesus did fulfill that. Not really a prophecy though, more like a commandment, but still.
Okay. So I just want to say, like I said, the Bible is 2,000 to 3,000 years of history, their time, and you have to understand that all the prophets were waiting for the Messiah, right?
Yep.
And things
Jesus
had to
didn't
line up the way God planned it to be.
And yet
that's how the New
and
Testament
yet
came to be.
The authors of the New Testament, the only way they can make Jesus seem as if he's the Messiah is by repeatedly misquoting and mistranslating the Old Testament. That doesn't if you're allowed to do that shit to make someone the Messiah, then I can make anyone the Messiah. I can make fucking Menachem Mendel Schneerson the Messiah.
Because no,
yeah,
you can't.
Yes, I can.
Because you're forgetting the book of Revelation and what's going on today.
Not only can I do that, but people have done that. You do realize that there are Jewish people today who believe that the late Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the head rabbi of the Chabad Lubavitch, believe he was the Messiah, and they even quote the Old Testament out of context in order to make it seem as if he's the Messiah. No different than what you Christians do.
I just want to give Social Federalist credit for saying that in the chat.
Also, there's nothing. The Book of Revelation is not about the 21st century. It says explicitly in the opening words. It says explicitly in the opening words of the text. It's about the things which must shortly come to pass, unless you're going to play the game that words don't mean words.
No, I'm not saying that. Okay, but I'm just saying that if you look at today, okay, and you look at the world right now, it's in utter chaos. Okay,
so,
we're good at home.
It's also,
we're chilling. But there's a lot of people suffering.
There's also more peace today than there's ever been. You're just more aware of the chaos because of how interconnected we are with the news. Fun fact: the world isn't more fucking chaotic than it's ever been. I suggest you read Better Angels of Our Nature for a reference to this.
I'm saying
you're just more aware. You're just more aware of it. That's all it is.
No, I'm saying there's ups and downs. World War II was the last up. It came back down. It was very, very down. Everything was very peaceful in the world.
It's not down. More people have more rights than ever now. You know, like, for example,
it's not about rights. It's about mental illness. It's cancers and sicknesses, brother.
Yes,
Do the research, my friend.
Well, actually, no. Mental illness is down because there was less Christians than ever before. But
I don't know. Your facts are out of here, brother. You have a good night. God bless. All the best.
We have the ability to diagnose now. Previously, we don't know who had mental illness because we have to assess a patient to make a diagnosis. It is actually unethical to cross a TV screen or do anything like that as a psychologist I'm not a psychologist. I'm just saying I had to study ethics. I have an undergrad in psych. We can make speculation, but we have no idea until you assess a patient. So you can't even make that claim.
King of Knives.
I'm saying the quality of life.
King of Knives.
Quality of life.
King of Knives. Are there more left-handed people now than there were 100 years ago?
Probably, because there's more people. Exponential growth.
No, per capita.
I don't know, bro.
Well, the answer is no. It's just that people are now allowed to be left-handed, as opposed to when they were left-handed and it got beaten out of them by religious teachers because they thought being left-handed was wicked.
Well, that's a religious teacher's fault. That's not God's fault or anything.
We have antibiotics now. We have vaccines. We have we literally, since the invention of antibiotics, we single-handedly have lived far longer because children don't unalive anymore from a simple ear infection.
I agree.
Okay, so quality of life up. We have
you're talking about technical advances. I'm not talking about technical advances. I'm talking about quality of life.
For the most part, we've outlawed slavery, which in Jesus' time, slavery was A-okay.
But people are okay. A lot of people nowadays they have depression, anxiety.
So,
they need medication.
People have always had depression and anxiety. We've just now been able to. We've only just now been able to identify easier than ever before.
Man. It's way more rampant than it ever was.
No, it's not.
You can't make that claim.
Provide me with an actual peer-reviewed paper that proves that that depression is more rampant than ever before. Bring me the data that supports that.
There's no one paper on it all. Obviously,
bring me any paper.
This. I'm just
bring
saying
me any bring me any peer-reviewed paper. If not, then just stop making bullshit claims about shit you don't know anything about.
We can't make claims about this until the depression is a specific diagnosis to the DSM-5 that you're mentioning. We would have to have patient information to make this claim. I don't know how you're saying this. I honestly don't.
Less people are starving
because
now.
The world's in chaos right now.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
we're on the brink of war.
We're always on the brink of war. That shit has
No,
they
we're
were on
not.
they were
No,
on the
we're
brink of war
not.
in Jesus' time. You realize that, right?
We we
I'm
were
saying
we
that obviously in recent times we're on the brink of war.
We're always on the brink of war. There have always
No, we're not always on the
humans
brink of
have
war.
always been.
It's got
There has
way
never
worse than the last
shut
5,
up.
10
so
years.
so so
No, it hasn't.
I mean, think about it this way. What is it? We've got 1812, 1860s, the 1910s, the 1940s, the 1980s, the 1990s, early 2000s. This is just us, by
Well,
the way.
here's
Just
the-
our wars.
Here's the thing, Ashlyn. Just because King of Knives wasn't aware of all the wars in the past and how shit the world was, therefore these things just didn't exist. That's how that works. If you're not aware of things, then they don't exist. King of Knives has the same mentality in regards to war and the chaos of the world that a 5-year-old has when they cover their eyes and suddenly their parents aren't there anymore. No, just because you weren't aware, just because you're more aware of the chaos in the world now, doesn't mean there's more chaos. You're just more aware of it, King of Knives. This is a bad argument in favor of the Book of Revelation, especially when the Book of Revelation is not about the 21st century.
Well, the Bible, the book of Revelation mentioned that in the end times that Israel will be back in their nation. There'll be some wonders
First and
and miracles
foremost,
happen
no,
there.
the Book of Revelation doesn't make that claim. But also, again, the Book of Revelation explicitly says these are about the things which must shortly come to pass. And that's because Jesus explicitly told his followers that he would be returning before all of them died. This was just ancient Christian cope.
Yeah, but none of the things were
And
fulfilled
in
yet. So how could it come to pass?
Israel,
It's false prophecy. That's why.
in Israel,
Yeah, of course it is. You guys are.
Israel is not the nation state, the place with the people that are modern day Israel. Not it. Not the same Israel as in the Bible.
Yeah, the
You're
Israel.
talking about a people group.
The state of Israel, the Hebrew Bible specifically says that when the nation of Israel is reestablished, it will be a monarchy and it will have its original borders, and the people there will be governed by the Torah. The modern state of Israel does not have the same borders as the ancient monarchy. It's not a monarchy, and also Torah law isn't governing the land of Israel. The modern state of Israel is a human-made invention by people who were aware of prophecy and worked actively to make the state of Israel a real thing. But the state of Israel has nothing to do with the Israel of prophecy. Not a fulfillment whatsoever. It's
Well, they're going to make the third temple, man. What do you mean? That's what it says in the book of Revelation.
No, it says the Messiah
Come on, man.
will build the book, will build the temple, and Jesus didn't fucking do that when he came, and he won't because he's dead.
Bro, what about the Antichrist? What about the false prophet, man? You have even read the book of Revelation?
I don't
Come on,
see.
man,
There,
guy.
I definitely know more about the book of Revelation.
You
than you do,
you never
guys.
you never go full preterist.
Yeah, you never go full,
Man,
go full preterist. King of Knives. The book of Revelation says that the name of the beast is 666. Are you aware that there are other manuscripts of the book of Revelation that say something other than 666? And do you know why that is?
Tell me.
Well, what, you don't know?
Oh, I like to learn, bro. You know it all? Do you know everything in the world? No, you don't. So humble up, my friend.
Well, you're
He
over here.
knows more about the Bible than you.
I know more
That's
about
for
the,
fucking sure.
I know more about the Bible than you do, King of Knives, is the point.
And I know about
there-
exercise more than you. So
and
what's your
there-
point?
Oh, look at that. Listen, guys. Whenever a Christian...
See, what's your point?
Whenever a Christian begins to body shame or use threats of hell, that's your identifier that this person has absolutely been utterly cooked and has absolutely been destroyed in the conversation, because they don't have any good points to bring to the conversation. So all they can do is body shame and threaten you with hell. Basically, thank you for letting us know.
I never did that to you.
What's
shut
the
up.
one?
Yes, you did. Shut up.
You know them by your fruits.
Oh yeah.
Right?
This
What
one's got
verse is
nasty
that?
fruits. And this one's got, you shall know them by their fruits. And King of Knives has horrible fruits. Now, King of Knives, you can sit here and make fat jokes about me all day, like the shit Christian that you are. I don't give a shit. It only tells me that that I've won the conversation at that point, that you basically have just conceded the point. Now, the book of Revelation sometimes it says 666. In the Latin manuscripts, it says 616. And that's because the name of Nero Caesar in Gematria is 666, and other variations of that name equals 616, because the Beast of Revelation was originally intended to be the Roman Empire and the resuscitation of Nero as the emperor who was killing Christians. But you wouldn't know that because you don't know the Bible all that well. You have a fundamentalist, very shallow understanding of the Bible. That's become very clear to all of us.
All right. So I never attacked you. I
Yes,
said
you
I
did.
do life coaching, so I study life coaching exercise.
I know
history,
the
all
gym better than you. Is you can try
Exactly,
you can try to fucking back out of what you said, but everyone heard what you just did. You piece of shit
saw me,
fuckface.
bro?
No.
Yeah, you're the one calling me. Now you're.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
there's the fruit.
because
I'm not a fucking Christian.
at least
There's the fruit.
because we have the courage that when we insult
courage,
you, we don't back out of it. We'll just
Yeah.
say it to your face.
Also, I'm not a
Yeah,
fucking,
I'm not just-
also I'm not a fucking Christian. So quoting me,
We heard you.
There's your fruits doesn't mean jack shit to me. You piece of shit fuckface. But you basically you've basically conceded the
We
argument.
got a big man on TikTok.
You've basically conceded the argument. Thank you for showing everyone that you had no good points and that you had to resort to body shaming me. W for atheism and L for King of Knives. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
We're not Christian. We don't have fruit. I have fruit. Okay, I have it in my fridge.
Yeah, typical Christian. Exactly. G Spence, typical Christian. I'm sure he's the kind of person who's going to be thinking, "Oh, I can't wait to clip that." Well, guess what, motherfucker? It's going on my YouTube channel. I can't wait to clip it myself one day. All right, we're gonna read some super chats. Let's take a look.
At Resistance with the 5 Australian dollars. Good day, mate. Dalton says anything at all. Christian men. Emotional damage. They are
Christian men like to say that women are emotional, but I've never seen anyone more emotional than Christian men as soon as you start reading the Bible to them. Let's see. And then
at Herbie Shine with the 2 pound hello governor. Ty Wolf and Dirty Pickle crashing out in the chat. Well, Ty Wolf and Dirty Pickle, maybe y'all should gird your loins and come up and have a conversation with me instead of crashing out like a bunch of crybaby
Christians. All right, and then
at Ben Bloodworth with the $4.99. It's like saying Jesus signed up for Obamacare when George W. Bush was president.
Excellent point. That's if someone wrote that.
It took me everything not to see that and say that because I was like, that is such a good.
Yeah, that is a really good point.
Good analogy.
But of course, Knives couldn't understand why the chronological contradictions of the Bible were problematic. But yeah, if the Gospels were written today and they said that Jesus signed up for Obamacare when George W. Bush was president, we would say that is chronologically inaccurate. And Ben Bloodworth, I'm going to be stealing that for myself in the future.
The baby cry thing sounds exactly like in high school we had to take home babies and they cried all night and you had to feed them as a health thing. It is the same cry as that high school phobic. I'm traumatized. I failed because I ran over rice in the grocery store. I have a child. I gave my health baby shaking baby syndrome.
I was in home ec and I don't remember ever getting a baby. They must have saw
Not home ec, health.
Oh, I didn't do that in health either. Yeah. Poor Texas
Oh,
education.
I was gonna say it was Texas.
At Adam Carmona with the $5. Chabad is so convinced the Rebbe is coming back. They built a replica of 770 Eastern Parkway in Israel.
Yeah. My point exactly. So the prophet said that when the Messiah comes, he's going to build the temple, Christians allegorize this to say that the church is the temple. Chabad will allegorize this to say that 770 Eastern Parkway was the fulfillment of that prophecy. See, Christians, if Chabad can do the same thing that you do and make the Rebbe the Messiah, then your Jesus is no more the Messiah than the Rebbe. But I got another guest. Bucky, I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I am.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
I mean, like, I would say like around half of it in total. I would say I've read most of the New Testament and like I guess a quarter of the Old.
All right. And then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right. Bucky, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board would you like to discuss with us today?
6. I don't think you can make a determination of whether it's a good source of morals or not outside of religion.
No, I have a moral framework.
Like, unless you... Well, yeah, but it's subjective. Like, you can't conclusively say
I'm
it's
a moral
objectively about...
realist.
Yeah, I was just
What are you talking about?
Sure, but it's...
I'm
sure,
a moral
but
realist.
again, it's subjective.
It's no more or less subjective than yours. Now, I can say that, but when I mean what something is moral, I mean that it is contrary to well-being, and whether or not something is contrary to well-being is objective in reality. Now, the question, my worldview says no to slavery. What about yours?
Yeah, I would say my worldview says no to slavery.
So you just would disagree with the Bible then?
Well, I think the Bible was speaking to a different time, and when it talks about slavery,
so
it is more laying out rules. If you look at if you put
is not a good source of morals.
If you put the verses in their context.
Okay, well here's the context. Here, Bucky, is heaven and earth still here around?
Sure.
What did Jesus say about the law of Moses in regards to heaven and earth?
I mean, he said he came to fulfill the law.
What did he say right after that?
What did he say right after that?
Therefore, until heaven and earth passes away, which it hasn't, as you already confessed, not a jot or tittle will pass from the law until all is fulfilled. All is not yet fulfilled. Therefore, whoever breaks the least of these commandments and teaches others to do so will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever does and teaches them, the same will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. And that applies not only to before the crucifixion, but after, because Jesus said, go therefore, make disciples of all nations, teaching them to observe everything I have commanded you. So according to Jesus, the law of Moses is in full effect. The law of Moses, do you agree with Paul? Yes or no?
Well, like, if you think about what Jesus says about divorce, right? And how, regardless of what the law was around divorce, like, the only reason the law was that way is because of the people that the law was being conveyed to.
Did he ever say that about
so it's like
slavery?
The Bible makes an allowance. Well, it's establishing the premise that the law does take into consideration the people that is being
for divorce
conveyed to.
For divorce, does it ever say that about slavery?
It doesn't say it specifically about slavery, but that's besides the point.
Does the New Testament say slaves obey your masters, even the cruel ones?
The Old Testament, you said?
No, the New Testament.
Yes, it does.
All right, so the New Testament never says anything about abolishing slavery.
Sure, but Christians abolish slavery in the end.
Oh,
so it's like,
well, I didn't say that Christians are not good source for morals, or people aren't good source for morals. The question is whether or not the Bible is a good source for morals. Should I get my morals from what the Bible says? The answer is no.
The Bible laid the foundation. The Bible laid the foundation. These Christians weren't acting of their own. They were using biblical verses to justify their position.
Christians are able
like the
to
abolitionist movement was Christian.
Christians are able to get rid of slavery because they ignore the words of Jesus.
Okay, regardless, what makes this objectively right or wrong?
Well, it's because
like outside of the Bible, outside of religion,
because it's contrary to moral being, and that's objective.
Contrary to what?
Well-being.
Yeah,
objective, like objective, yes, because you said so.
Yes,
so how do you know it's objective?
No,
it's objectively against well-being.
We're agents. We want agents to we want our own agency respected. Therefore, in order to be consistent, their agency is respective. Our goal is well-being and fairness. Therefore, we all obey this. Like that's the ought. Now, in this well-being and fairness, two individuals' agency are not being respected in slavery, in women being property, in many things in the text.
Okay, like how are you objectively determining how are you measuring well-being, and how do you know that this is a good thing?
By assessing what happens to the individual. For example, if I make someone eat car battery acid,
But that's a subjective determination.
No, it's not subjective.
Objective too.
It's not subjective. If I make someone eat car battery
It's
acid,
definitionally subjective.
It's definitionally objective. No matter what you think about it, making someone eat car battery acid will be detrimental to their health and well-being. That's objective.
So what if somebody is looking for the result that, for example, drinking battery acid would
No matter if they want it or they
So
don't,
it's like
it will always be detrimental to their well-being.
and that's you saying it's detrimental to their well-being.
It's
That's you perceiving it. You're a subjective being. You can't perceive that outside of your own experience.
If someone wants to drink battery acid, will that magically make it to where it won't hurt them?
Well, you have to define hurt. Like, these are all subjective experiences.
No, I don't have
hurt
to.
is literally a subjective.
I don't have to fucking define hurt, because we're all human beings and we know what it means to hurt someone, to cause harm to an individual. Will a person be in good health after they drink battery acid?
If I agree with you, that still makes it
Even
subjective.
if
Me
you
agreeing with
want
you
to,
doesn't make something objective.
Even if you want to, the problem is it's a self-defeating position. That if your goal is well-being, because that's the goal of morals, wanting to do harm for yourself is illogical, because it would be against the goal of well-being.
Who are you
It
to
doesn't
define
matter.
well-being for somebody else?
And also, you're no different than us. You have a moral system that also comes from a human source. Ours just doesn't allow for slavery. Yours does.
I acknowledge that it takes faith. I acknowledge that it takes faith, though. But there's this kind of unscientific, uncritical.
I'll just say what I said again, because you weren't listening. You're no different than us, because your moral system also comes from a human source. The only difference is that our moral system doesn't allow for slavery.
It's worse than that, Dalton. If he says that we can't define morals in this way, then he can't define morals in any way, unless he wants to say that everything that God does is good, and then he would have to accept slavery as a good thing, in which he doesn't. The position is self-defeating for him.
Listen, I acknowledge that it takes faith. We are subjective beings. We could never perceive anything outside of our own experience. Can I finish? Can I finish? I let you guys finish.
No. Can you respond to what Ashlyn just said instead of going off on whatever the fuck you're just going off on? Respond to what Ashlyn just said.
Engage in the conversation.
I just said that's me responding. I'm saying we are subjective beings. I can't prove to you. Hold on. I'm trying to respond. I'm trying to respond.
Then fine. Then you admit that you cannot determine that the Bible is not a good source of morals. You just lost the conversation. We are saying that you can. You're just saying that you can't.
Listen,
so fine,
there is no
objective.
Concede. There is no objective standard of evidence. Even if I could listen, hold on. Let me finish.
Then thank you for conceding that you don't have any good reason for me to think that the Bible is a good source for morals. And by morals, I mean that which is conducive to the well-being of humans, which doesn't require further elaboration, because none of us are brain dead. We all know what that means. Do you affirm or deny that the Bible is a good source for the well-being of individuals?
I don't that's... I like relying on the consensus opinion on what is right and wrong and what's harmful and not. I'm not interested in that.
By morals, we mean...
It's not consensus.
Yeah,
we're moral realists. We don't take a popular vote. Do you know what a moral realist is?
Probably not.
Yeah, it's moral hypocrisy. I mean, you
go ahead and give me
a
the
lot
definition,
of contemporary. A moral realist is just basically a form of objective morality. It's the same thing that you claim when you claim God is objective morality. But we're just saying we have a different way to come to that conclusion. And that's the simplest that I
Yeah,
can
totally
put it.
subjective process. I know.
So
You
you're
believe
No.
in right and wrong. You just
by that. So you're by that standard. Your moral view is also subjective.
Yeah. So therefore, you can't make this
we are
claim
subjective
either.
beings. We cannot
No,
perceive
Baki, if
objective
you
truth.
have okay, fine. Then everything that you're talking about is virtually a preference, and you can't make any moral claims.
Here.
Congratulations.
But I acknowledge
you
my
can-
faith.
Here, when
No,
I say, okay,
you can't.
when I use the word moral, this is what I mean in this conversation. Is the Bible a good source for coming to an understanding of what is good and for the well-being of an individual? And don't be an idiot and ask me what well-being is, because we all are humans and we know exactly, like, for example, decapitation is not good for the well-being of an individual. Is the Bible a good source for getting to the well-being of individuals?
Religion is the only source for morals.
Well, slavery. Do you think slavery is...
You can't make that
Well,
claim. But Baki, you already folded and said that you like everything that you believe in is subjective. You can't make any claims besides preferences.
Is it conducive to the well-being of individuals?
I'm just saying
to
you guys
own-
are effectively religious.
No, I'm not. Stop projecting.
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
He has to believe that we're religious because he realizes that there's a weakness in him being religious and having faith, and therefore he has to. This is what most Christian apologists do, because they cannot like actually engage with the actual ideas. They have to project their own faults and being able to beat them with an inch of their life. Is this conducive to the well-being of that person?
No, I don't think so.
Does the Bible allow you to beat your slaves so long as they don't die in 2 or 3 days?
Yes, but you're taking it out of context.
In what context is it suddenly okay that the phrase a slave owner, as long as their slave doesn't die in 2 or 3 days, he is not to be punished because he has his property? Where is the context that makes this suddenly better?
There was no restriction. There was no restriction in most cultures on what you could do with a slave because it was entirely your property. There weren't even.
That's not true.
Okay, you
need
can
to-
say that, but that doesn't mean.
You need to read the Code of Hammurabi if you're going to make a
Hold
silly
on.
statement like that.
But Baki, was everything that God did morally like good?
Good doesn't exist outside. Like God is synonymous
Yes
with
or
good.
no? No.
Okay,
Otherwise,
so-
it's just subjective.
Answer the question.
So it is good. It is good to punish people like David did by raping their wives.
There is like no right or wrong outside of religion.
No. Okay.
So God
Okay,
is
so
synonymous.
it is morally good.
Stop, Bucky. Stop fucking dodging the question. Ashley asked you, was it good when Yahweh made those men rape David's wives? Yes or no? Don't fucking dodge again.
Well, listen, there are disputes on.
Yes or no?
Hold on, let me
Was
finish.
Was it morally good?
Anything God does
is morally.
So it's okay to
anything.
punish.
Can I finish
it's
a
okay.
sentence?
So it's okay.
Can I finish a sentence?
I want you to say yes if you think this is morally okay. Was it okay for God to cause Absalom to rape David's wives? Yes or no? And I don't want to hear anything else except for yes or no.
That's a mischaracterization.
Bye.
You want to pull up the story, Dalton?
Yep.
And read it for the class?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because the fact that we couldn't get an honest answer out of him, we're going to read his Bible and see what it says.
See, Dalton, when you don't give up the objective morals, it's so much easier to beat them. Subjective moral claims are really hard to fundamentally like back.
2 Samuel chapter 16. I'm just going to assume that that he thinks that this is moral because God is good with synonymous with good, so apparently this is good. All right. Let's see. Let me get it out here real quick. Verses. Okay. Then Absalom said to Ahithophel, "Give us your counsel, and what shall we do?" Ahithophel said to Absalom, "Go into your father's concubines, the one he has left to look after the house, and all Israel will hear that you have made yourself odious to your father, and the hands of all who are with you shall be strengthened. So they pitched a tent for Absalom upon the roof, and Absalom went into his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. Now, in those days, the counsel of Ahithophel gave was as if one consulted the oracle of God. So all the counsel of Ahithophel was esteemed by both David and Absalom. And there's another passage where this. Let's see. The exact passage is actually in chapter 12, specifically where God says to, let's see, 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 11 through 12. It says here, "Thus saith the Lord," so this is Yahweh talking, "I will raise up trouble against you from within your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight. For you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and in broad daylight." So Yahweh specifically says that he is going to cause David's wives to be raped. And according to our last guess, this is good, because everything God does is good. But he was too much of a wuss to answer.
And this isn't the only time Yahweh actually specifically punishes other people for the crimes of others or the sins of others. It's the second commandment where he actually says that I am a jealous God, punishing children for the iniquity of parents to the third and fourth generation of those who reject me. And this is just for idolatry. It's no wonder that he will allow women to get, or cause women to get raped, murder babies, do all these things. And this is the being in which this person says they derive their moral funds, and they are synonymous with good. That's Christian morals.
Blase in the comments says, Yahweh became Absalom? No, Yahweh made Absalom rape David's wives. Don't forget what Yahweh said. I will do this thing. Yahweh made him do it. All right. Chody Lopez. Actually, no, Showtime was up first. So let me get Showtime, and then we'll get Chody up. Showtime. I'm going to ask you the same four preliminary questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I'm 38.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I was born and raised Christian.
But are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
All right. Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
It's been a while since I've read it, but I've read it a long time ago.
All right. And question number 4, what are your pronouns?
I'm obviously a man, so I don't go by pronouns.
You just used a pronoun, though. You said I don't go by pronouns. I is a first person pronoun. So what are your third person pronouns?
Well, you're asking pronouns. So if I said she, her, would you then address me as a she, her?
Yep.
So that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not my fault that you don't understand how
You can
gender.
clearly tell I have a deep voice.
It's not. It doesn't matter. Women can have deep voices.
Hey, Showtime. If
you can see me in my picture
if you
too.
if you had a friend, that had an alcoholic, abusive dad, and his name was Mike Jr., and you got to college with this individual, and he goes, "Hey, I don't want to be called Mike Jr. because of like the trauma associated with my abusive alcoholic dad." Would you just say, "No, that's ridiculous"?
No, because you could change your name, but you can't change your gender.
Yeah, you can. Gender is a social construct.
How is it a social construct?
Trans individuals are who they say they are.
Yeah.
They're not changing anything.
So if
That's
I
true,
woke
that's
up
true.
tomorrow and said, feel like I'm a woman, I could be a woman.
I guarantee you, Showtime, that you don't even also yourself associate gender with biology. For example, do you believe that God?
Gender.
Do you believe
sex
that God
is biology?
Nope.
You're the one that
Nope.
denies biology.
I know. I didn't talk about sex. We're talking about gender and pronouns. Not talking about sex.
Gender is how.
So do you do you believe that
talk
God
to
the
me.
Father
So
is
what is gender?
do you believe that God the Father is a biological male?
God the Father is the Almighty. He has no gender.
No.
He's the spirit.
Is he a biological male?
Jesus was a biological man.
I didn't ask you about Jesus, did I? I don't know
Well,
why.
I'm saying I don't is not.
I don't know why Christians insist on answering questions I never asked them. Huge waste of their time. Huge waste of my time. Showtime The question I asked you, I'll ask you again, because it seems you're hard of hearing. Is God the Father a biological male? Yes or no?
Why did you mute me?
Because
You're such a
so
weakness for muting.
that you actually hear what I'm fucking saying. Hopefully, now answer the question:
Well,
Is
no,
God
you're
the
saying nonsense and they call you out.
is God the Father a biological male? Yes or no?
No, he is not.
Do you refer to God the Father as he and him?
Yes.
So you understand on some level that someone can be called he and him. It has absolutely fucking nothing to do
That
with
has
their
nothing to do
their
with
biology.
my guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You are
Your
misconstruing
pronouns have
this.
nothing to do with your biology.
Okay, let me ask you, what qualifies you to be a trans person?
For you to have a gender identity which is opposite of your sex.
So all I need to do is say I believe I am a woman and I am now a woman.
Do you actually, or are you just lying to me? If you
Dude,
genuinely, well, you specifically, no, I would doubt because you're obviously a transphobe. But if an individual has a gender identity which is opposite of their the sex assigned to them, then guess what? Yeah, they're trans. That's what the trans and transgender means. It's a Latin word that means opposite. It means that their gender is opposite of the sex that they have.
Hey, show. Do you know the first person subjective of experience of other people?
I mean, you want to keep muting and talking over me.
Yes.
Do
I'm not
you-
going to even engage
do
to what you
you-
said.
I'm asking
gonna
you a
engage
simple
with him because
question.
he asked me a question, and I want to answer his question first. So, what is?
I didn't ask you a
Tell me,
question.
what
I
is gender and what is
didn't ask
sex?
you. I didn't ask you a question. I made a statement.
Well,
You
I
weren't
wanna
listening.
engage
You
with
obviously
you
weren't
if we could do a
listening.
one-on-one.
Because you probably don't like to talk to women
And also,
either.
you
Because
called me
on
a
top of being a
transphobe.
transphobe, you're probably a
Like-
misogynist. So engage with my question.
Yeah, I'm everything.
Go ahead.
Do you know the first person subjective experience of other individuals?
All right, give him a second. To unmute. Yeah, Steven, it's always silly when they say something like, I'm a man, I don't use pronouns. What a silly contradictory statement. So, showtime.
You know what's funny? Well, you know what's funny too, since he's probably not going to answer me. This is Jesus's words. Not everyone can accept this teaching, but only those whom it is given. For there are eunuchs who have been so from birth, and there are eunuchs who have been made eunuchs by others, and there are eunuchs who have been made themselves eunuch for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. Let anyone accept this who can. Now, maybe it's probably not the same as a trans individual today, but it is definitely a non-male category that fit neither male or female. So there were different concepts about these, like these secondary and tertiary sex characteristics that you wouldn't even say were to be true based on the statement that you've said previously.
All right, so showtime. Do you know other people's personal, what was it? How do you phrase the question, Ash? Ask it again.
First person subjective experiences.
What? No.
Okay, cool. So you have no idea on whether they live and operate in this world as a woman or as a man because you aren't them. We have so much information in the modern day psychology, sociology, and even in the BSTC,
Yeah.
bed nucleus of the striatus terminalis.
So a man could live like his life as a woman, but it doesn't make him a woman.
No, a man doesn't live his life as a woman. A woman
Man can't.
A woman lives her life as a woman.
Well, but men are turning into women, so then that would make them a
men
woman.
men are not turning into women. It's just that trans women are coming into an understanding of their gender identity.
What does that even?
Dalton,
they're born
Dalton.
biological male.
No, they're born males.
I didn't ask about whether or not they're born biological male. Male and man, not the same thing. Yeah.
Dalton, pull
What is a
up
man?
male
What
medicine,
is a man?
sex versus gender
Uh,
website.
Yeah. And here.
What is a man?
A man is
It's Yale.
is an adult human whose gender identity aligns with their personal schema on the male sex. Yale what?
Yale sex versus gender.
Sex versus gender.
Gender's how you identify. I know. You could be a man, identify as a woman, but that does not make you a female.
You didn't.
No one's saying that.
Yeah, you're not. You don't.
No one's saying no one's saying anyone can change sexes. That is not
but you
what's being
are
said.
when you're saying
No.
trans woman
There's
can
no
compete in women's sports.
No, men aren't in women's sports.
Yeah.
Women are in women's sports because trans women are women.
Dude, am I in a retard zone right now?
All right.
Oh,
bye.
and now we're
What
gonna
is
slur.
happening here?
Bye.
Now we're ableist.
Bye.
No, every single modern medical institution in the United States accepts that gender is not the same as sex.
Yeah. Specifically here, I have Yale School of Medicine on what do we mean by sex and gender. There's a whole article. In 2001, a committee convened. This is actually quite a lot to read right now. In the study of human subjects.
It's this one. That's exactly where you need to be.
The term sex should be used as a classification generally as male or female, according to the reproductive organs and functions that derive from the chromosomal complement, generally XX for female and XY for male. In the study of human subjects, the term gender should be used to refer to a person's self-representation as male or female, or how that person is responded to by social institutions on the basis of the individual gender's representation. In most studies of non-human animals, the term sex should be used because animals, unlike humans, don't have gender because, again, gender is a social construct created by humans. But he could not actually, as soon as I was actually able to give him an actual definition for man, as soon as the fact that the science that Ashlyn brought up was brought forward, because, well, that's what they do. If you don't have an answer for the science and for like the reason and rationale, then that's all you have to do. He couldn't even get past the fourth question because he was an idiot. So anyways, hopefully the next guest can answer the first preliminary questions without absolutely crashing out. All right. Chody Lopez 256. I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions I'll ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I'm 32.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Not the Christian Bible, no. I'm a Satanist.
Oh, okay, well, do you disagree with any of these 6 points?
Yes, the Bible was man-made.
That's not one of the 6 points. Wait, you think the Bible is inspired?
By man, yes.
Well, so you don't disagree with any of the 6 points. I'm not a Christian. I'm an atheist.
Huh?
I'm not a Christian.
I'm not. I'm a Satanist.
Yeah, and I'm an atheist. So these are this is my perspective. So we don't.
Jesus was just a man.
I agree. So it looks like you're not opposition. So I'm going to move on to someone who is opposition. Thank you for coming up.
No, I just wanted to say something right quick. The 10 Commandments, what they believe in, why would a God say they have free will, but then he killed a whole lot of generations just for the flood? I mean, they want to go by that, but they say he's not.
If you ever talk to a Christian about that, just let them know the Bible doesn't say jack squat about free will. So, but hey, Chody, thank you for coming up.
You're welcome.
All right, Licorice. Licorice, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3, how much of the Bible have you read?
Well, the New Testament several times, and I haven't read the whole Old Testament, but I'm pretty familiar. I'm pretty familiar with the Old Testament and the New Testament.
All right, and question number 4, what are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, Licorice, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board would you like to discuss with me?
Well, the second one and the fourth one, Jesus was not God and he was not the Messiah.
All right. I don't think Jesus was the Messiah because he didn't fulfill prophecy.
What do you mean by that?
So the Old Testament is filled with prophets who speak the future about things which will come to pass. They prophesy about a future king of Israel. Jesus doesn't fulfill any of those prophecies. Therefore, he can't be the Messiah.
Like which specific verse are you referring to? Like which prophecy?
Isaiah chapter 2 says in the last days there will be world peace and nation will not wage war against nation. It says in Zechariah 6 that the Messiah will build the temple. It says in the book of Ezekiel that he'll gather in all the Jewish people from the four corners of the world and bring them back to the Holy Land and be their king in the land of Israel. Jesus didn't do any of these things. In fact, everything Messiah was supposed to do, the exact opposite happened in the first century.
You do realize that that's talking about the second coming, like the events before the second coming.
Well, that's a nice cope.
It's not about when Jesus.
That's a nice cope, but I can say the same thing about any failed Messiah. For example, we bring him up on this channel quite often. The Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the chief rabbi of the Chabad Lubavitch movement within Judaism, he died in 1990. People thought he was the Messiah. There are still people to this day who think he's the Messiah, despite the fact that he died. They just claim that he'll make a second coming and he'll do the rest of it. If we're just going to make the claim that, well, Jesus will fulfill the prophecies when he returns, we can literally say the same about any failed Messiah.
So you do realize the Bible tells of the prophecy is based on the timeline. So like this, there's the prophecy that Jesus fulfilled while he was on earth 2,000 years ago, and then there's the prophecy that's supposed to happen.
There are no prophecies that Jesus fulfilled 2,000 years ago. And again, the Hebrew Bible never once says that there will be two comings of the Messiah. That's a Christian cope.
No, I'm not talking about I'm talking about Jesus when he first came. He came in the form of the servant. So he came to do the will of God and to die for our sins.
Well, I don't believe that, because Jesus, as far as I can tell, was just a man, and he didn't fulfill any prophecies. He was just a failed Messiah who got, and then his followers retroactively read him into the Old Testament.
So you never read all those prophecies that refers to Christ coming.
I've read the entire Bible.
You never read those prophecies.
I've read the entire Bible.
So
I know it better. I know it better than most Christians. And it's because I've read the Bible that I reject Jesus as the Messiah.
So how do you not see the prophecies in the Old Testament as referring to Christ?
Because I know the Old Testament better than Christians do, and I know that when the authors of the New Testament quote the Old Testament and say Jesus fulfilled prophecy, they often either mistranslate it or they take it out of context. Would you like an example?
Do you? Well,
Yes.
I just want to know if he has a prophecy, even if he's just not just saying this. If I don't even know. Do you even know a prophecy that you think Jesus fulfilled?
Hold on. Wait, can you give me an example?
Do you know any prophecy?
So there's I couldn't think of anything on my mind right now, but I'm pretty sure I read a bunch of those in the past.
So I'm going to pull up a passage from the book of the prophet Hosea. And I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to ask you what this is about. Okay? Hosea chapter 11, verses 1 through 2. When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. The more I called them, the more they went from me. They kept sacrificing to the Baals and offering incense to idols. What is this about?
So what book is this?
Hosea. When Israel was a child, I loved him. Who's Israel?
So it's talking about the times of when the Israelites was in captivity. It was in captivity, and basically it was referencing the time when God called out the Israelites from
the Exodus, right?
Captivity in Egypt. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This says when Israel, the nation was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. This is reference to the Exodus. And this is the more I called them, the Israelites, the more they went away from me. And it talks about how they committed idolatry. So we agree this is about the nation of
So
Israel, and it's about the past, about the Exodus, correct?
yes, because after they went with Moses they went into the desert. They kept on rebelling against God and worshiping like the golden calf and like others.
Are
like
you familiar?
rebellious
Are you
acts.
familiar with the slaughter of the innocents in the book of Matthew?
Wait, let's stay on topic.
Oh no, this is on this is on topic. Trust me. Are you familiar with you're familiar with how Herod killed all the infants in Bethlehem who were 2 years old and under?
Yes.
All right. This is what it says afterwards. It says in Matthew chapter 2, verse 13 through 15. Now, after they had left, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother, and flee to Egypt, and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him." Then Joseph got up, took the child and his mother by night, and went to Egypt, and remained there until the death of Herod. This was to fulfill what had been spoken by the Lord through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I have called my son." So when you and I read the passage in its original context, it was obviously about Israel, about the past, not the future, and about the Exodus. And yet, the author of Matthew is quoting this passage from Hosea and is making the claim that it's a prophecy of the future and it's about Jesus. This is exactly what I mean when I say the authors of the New Testament misquote the Old Testament in order to make it look as if it's about Jesus.
Okay. Let me give me some time to think about this.
Would you like another example?
Wait, hold on. Let me think. Let's move on to the next example because
All right. I'm going to open up the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31. And this is about the joyful return of the exiles. So you're familiar with the Babylonian exile, right?
yes.
All right. So this is a passage. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the exact. Okay. So this is at that time, says the Lord, "I will be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus saith the Lord, the people who survived by the sword found grace in the wilderness. When Israel sought for rest, the Lord appeared to him from far away. I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore I have continued my faithfulness to you. Again I will build you, and you shall be built, O virgin Israel. Again you shall adorn yourself with your tambourines, and go forth in the dance of the merrymakers. Again you shall plant vineyards, and on the mountains of Samaria the planters shall plant and shall enjoy the fruit. For there shall be a day when sentinels will call in the hill country of Ephraim, Come, let us go up to Zion to the Lord our God. For thus saith the Lord, Sing aloud with gladness for Jacob, and raise shout for the grief of the nations. Proclaim, give praise, and say, Save, O Lord, your people, the remnant of Israel. See, I am going to bring them from the land of the north, and gather them from the farthest parts of the earth, among them the blind and the lame, those with child and those in labor together. A great company, they shall return here. So this is talking about the return of the exiles, right?
Yeah.
With weeping they shall come, and with consolations I will lead them back. I will let them walk by brooks of water in a straight path where they shall not stumble. For I have become a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn son. Hear the word of the Lord, O nations, and declare it to in the coastlands far away. Say, He who scattered Israel will gather him, and I will keep him as a shepherd does a flock. For the Lord has ransomed Jacob; he has redeemed from him from hands too strong for him. They shall come and sing. Where's the part I'm looking for? Okay, I'm going to skip a couple of verses. This is still about the exiles. In verse 15, Thus saith the Lord, a voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel is weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Thus saith the Lord, keep your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for there is a reward for your work, says the Lord. They shall come back from the land of the enemy. There is hope for your future, says the Lord. Your children shall come back to their own country. So when we read here that Rachel, who is like she's the matriarch of Israel, the one that all the Israelites come from, that she's weeping because the children of Israel have been taken into exile, right?
Yes.
And then God says, and she's weeping because their children are no more, meaning that they've been taken to the land of the enemy. But God here promises that he brings them back from the exile, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, when we go back to Matthew chapter 2, same passage, this is what we read. It says here in Matthew 2:7, then Herod secretly called the Magi and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, go and search diligently for the child. Verse 16. When Herod saw that he had been tricked by the Magi, he was infuriated, and he sent and killed all the children in and around Bethlehem who were 2 years old or under, according to the time that he had learned from the Magi. Then what had been spoken through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing in loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be consoled because they were no more. We just read that the reason Rachel is weeping is because the children were taken into exile. The children here refer to all the Israelites who were taken into exile in Babylon. She's refused to be comforted because she's in the land of the enemy. The author of Matthew here again is misquoting the Old Testament to make it look like prophecy was fulfilled when it was actually about something else entirely.
Okay. So I don't know how to refute this because I never encountered this proposition before. So I think I might.
Can I give you a
W for being honest?
Yeah.
W for being honest
you
and
want-
not just making something up.
Would you like to know where you can learn more about this?
Well, sure.
There is a rabbi by the name of Tovia Singer. Here, I'll show you his YouTube channel. His content is all just refuting Christians when it comes to Bible prophecy. So, oopsie, see that right there? Right there. This is Tovia Singer, Tovia Singer. Go watch some of his videos. Any prophecy you can possibly think of, he's got a refutation for it. Because at the end of the day, Jesus didn't really fulfill prophecy, and therefore it's quite impossible for anyone to really consider him the Messiah if they're honest about what the Bible actually says.
So I'm gonna go study this topic, and maybe in the future I'll come back on this platform.
All right. Well, thank you for coming up, Licorice. You have a wonderful day.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I'm going to take one last guest, and then we're going to end the show for the day.
Apparently, there's been a Brent Council vote in our YouTube chat. I don't know what's going on, but they're forming councils in our chat.
Apparently, that kid. Every time I hear the word "apparently," I think of him. Y'all gotta fill me in on this council vote. Anyways, we got here Robert Baudouin. Is it Baudouin?
It's Baudouin.
Baudouin. Robert, I'm going to ask you the same 4 preliminary questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
I grew up Catholic.
But do you believe in the Bible?
But I don't. No.
Oh, are you you're not a believer? You're like an atheist or something, or agnostic?
No. I'm just on the fence. I don't know.
All right. Question number 3: how much of the Bible have you read?
I mean, I studied it a lot when I was younger. I haven't read any recently.
All right. And then question number 4: what are your pronouns?
Just I don't know. He, him, I guess.
All right. Robert, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Which one of the 6 points on the board did you want to discuss with me?
Yes. Okay, so let's see. Which one? I feel like okay, I didn't know that was going to be the question. I just joined this live. But let me read right quick.
While they're reading, by the way, the Discord link, the Discord is now open. If you want Bible resources to build with the community, we have a live chat going. We have religious memes. We have pet photos. We have Ask Duncan. We have submit your resources to the community. All that and more. All in the Discord. So if you want to, in TikTok, you can click on my link tree, Dalton's link tree. If you're in the YouTube, it's in the description of the live. Go ahead and if you want to join the community, join via the link. Yes, Discord app does work on Apple. You have to go to your Apple settings. And I'm not quite sure what you have to do. I think you can Google it and you go to the iPhone settings though. And it's because I have it set 18 plus, but sorry, Robert.
No, you're fine. Before we continue, I'm interested in number 3, but before we do that, can I go off script?
You know what? You're the last guest for the day, so sure, why not?
Okay, so when I was really young, I remember when my parents like first told me about God and all this stuff. And basically I was like, it seems like Santa Claus for grown-ups, and my mom was like, go talk to your dad. So I don't know, that's where I was from a young age, like very young.
I mean, you're not wrong, Robert. I mean, think about the parallels between God and Santa Claus. I mean, they both sit on a throne. They both have they're both very elderly appearing at very least. They're both magical. They both have lists of people who are good and bad. They will either reward you or punish you based on that behavior. So yeah, I mean, I agree. God is Santa Claus for grown-ups.
Okay, and as a scientist, number 3 really kind of gets to me.
All right. Tell me, Robert, why do you think Jesus of Nazareth did resurrect from the dead?
I don't have any proof of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you think is more, as a scientist, what do you think is more likely, that something that has never happened before or since in history, a dead man rising from the dead happened, or that that we had an individual who was deeply loved by a group of men, like Peter, for example, and this man was crucified violently and put to death, and as a result, many of these men, like Peter, who loved this other man, Jesus, very dearly, ended up having a what we call a bereavement hallucination, where they saw their dead rabbi walking around. What's more likely?
I feel like the hallucination is more likely.
I agree. Now we have a lot of stories about the resurrected Jesus in the Gospels, but before any of those stories were ever written, all we have was words from Paul, where Paul makes the claim that Jesus, quote, appeared to Peter and appeared to all these other people. It's the Greek word ophthe. It's the same word used to describe the way that Jesus appeared to Paul, and Paul only had visions of Jesus. All of this would lead me to believe, at the very least, that the most likely explanation for the mortem appearances of Jesus is simply that his followers either had bereavement hallucinations or were like conditioned by religious expectation to have visionary experiences of Jesus.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like at the same time, people get a lot out of believing in stuff, you know, especially going to church and all this stuff.
But is there anything that church honestly offers that you can't get outside of church?
Yeah, because there's the placebo effect, right?
Yeah, but I could just take a sugar
So
pill. Also, I mean,
no, that's not how the placebo effect works.
It's literally a sugar pill.
Yes, it's a sugar pill, but it's not the sugar pill that does the work.
yeah, it's just your personal.
belief.
Yeah,
Your
I mean,
brain.
we can just lead people to believe better things and get better help, like therapy, better moral ethical standards and whatnot. Anything is superior to like what we currently have with Christianity. The community aspect, you can get community outside of church. You can believe true things and be an ethical person without ever having to step foot in a church.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like generally if you can't find that goodness in your community,
Well, here's the problem: is that
It's very dependent. That's the problem. Is that we should be able to find it every time we look there, but we don't, and we can't. In fact, some data suggests that like individuals who are Christian are less likely to ask for forgiveness, because they think that the only person or thing they need forgiveness from is God. There's not. I don't know that there's a lot of data that suggests that going to church makes you a better person. You don't need, like, you can have community centers. We've got plenty of those. We've built a community online. It doesn't necessarily always have to be in person. I wouldn't say that you get better outcomes just from going to church. In fact, in some outcomes, I think you become a much worse person.
most of the men that I talk to on this app who are Christian are generally going to be misogynists. They treat women horribly. They will say that it's okay to own slaves or kill people if God allows it. They are very homophobic and transphobic. And I'm sure you're against. You wouldn't agree with any of that. But the problem is that people get radicalized by a lot of churches, especially in America, are extremely radical and radicalize people into these positions.
Yeah, I obviously don't agree with those things. But I do think that those generally, not as exclusively, those places are fostered by like care about the community. Obviously there are people that are outlanders, but in general, like if you don't have another community, that's like,
Robert, do you have any evidence to suggest that this is an outlier? Because I don't. Like, in fact, I don't know that we can even say that like it's not something but a tax evasion thing. Like, I don't, like, honestly, like when you look at like what churches
have you
do.
been to churches?
I have. I live in
Yeah.
Texas. I live in a deep south in Texas. And Ashlyn visited me last year. She sees there's like a dozen churches just where I live. And people in these churches are generally going to be more right-leaning individuals, conservative, and are going to believe and do all kinds of nasty things as a result. And they use their religion as a justification for their homophobia and transphobia.
No, okay.
Progressive
yeah,
churches are going to be the
that's
progressive.
not the same experience that I have.
Progressive or liberal churches, those are the outliers, especially in America. If you don't live in America, that might be a different situation altogether. But here in America, the vast majority of churches are going to be more right-leaning conservative churches, evangelical especially.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's
Like what does this do like that you couldn't do with like charities?
No, I'm not saying. So, obviously, like I'm not. I grew at a young age. I rejected religion, obviously, but I found like the experience and the people, the culture, like was very caring. So
What about all the child essay and grape that occurs within church? That
yeah,
they use this position of power and trust to do this action. They specifically know that they have the power and trust because it was believed or is still believed that they can trust their children to be alone. In no other position would you allow a grown adult to be with a small boy or girl, because sometimes it happens to women as well. Well, actually, I don't know the actual prevalence, so I don't want to say sometimes. Like it's both. But like, in what other position would you let this happen except for at churches? I think that, and then they spend millions of dollars to hide it, to have insurance. We had a huge lawsuit in my state because the Catholic Church hid it massively. They would literally knew it was going on and hid it.
where would I mean? I'm sorry. Can you say what state you're
Yeah, New
from?
York. There was a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with the Catholic Church in New York.
Okay, so it's crazy that I'm even defending this because I don't practice religion at all, but I'm just gonna per se the other side. I do think because I've had really religious friends and I've went to church with them just because I was there, but the communities there were so nice and like
Nice isn't necessarily the same thing as good, though, Robert. That's the thing. People
Are
can be
you?
very kind and nice, but if you were to ask them about, like, for example, trans people, they're probably going to tell you some very nasty
Yeah,
things about them.
Robert, are you
no, I'm a pretty
are you a
set
cis
on my ways.
white
Yeah.
man?
Say what?
Are you a cis heterosexual white man?
Yeah, but I also support gay rights and everything.
What she's pointing out.
Unfortunately,
Like,
is that
yeah.
you don't know what you don't know because you're in a position of privilege. They don't predominantly, like, if you look at voting patterns of individuals who are Christian, it is by far conservative. Progressive
No,
Christians make
I
up a very
agree.
small amount. And the reason for this is that they are anti-abortion, anti-trans. Sometimes I would say that the gay thing has come a little far, farther, but a lot of the times
I'm for all of those things.
you are. But when we look at the reasons that conservatives vote conservative, it tells us the actual picture that if a majority of Christians are voting conservative, and the reason for them voting conservative is because they are anti-trans, they are anti benefits, so feeding the hungry, they're anti everything Jesus. Like, and I'm not saying all of them, but a good enough chunk that, like, you can just look at the Pew Research studies. Like, I implore you to look this up. Go look at Pew Research Christians that vote conservative, and then look up why they vote conservative and what issues that they believe in, or just go talk to
Well,
them.
I have some friends that are conservative and all this stuff, but they don't bring up anything when I talk about these things.
Maybe they know,
because
they might know that it would make trouble in the friendship.
Yeah.
If I was asked your conservative friends, though, if a trans woman wanted to be called she, her, and go into women's spaces, what do you think your friends would say?
They're super open-minded people. They're amazing. They're great people. They understand like this is 2025, bro.
So I wish it being 2025 was a good enough reason, but sadly there are, especially since it's 2025, there are far more conservatives around who are being openly and blatantly, well, at least on this channel, we get a lot of transphobes and homophobes from the Christian right.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I mean, this
yeah,
is
I
this
understand.
this is just what the data suggests. You may honestly have a friend that identifies as conservative that maybe doesn't actually fit what a conservative is. But if you look at the voting patterns and the choices that they answer in surveys to why they are conservative, and what issues that they align with like Trump on, then you'll like see this pattern of behavior. But it's historically been, at least for the last couple decades, that conservatives are for like Christian nationalism. They're not entirely, but like that's predominantly. It's like sometimes a square is a rectangle. Yeah, a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't a square kind of ordeal. That is a subgroup that exists within them. And like when that's being supported, I don't think the trans thing is, but like they use the Bible and they can have some legitimate arguments for this. Like misogyny is a really good one that they can use to push their rhetorics. When you can make a legitimate argument for slavery and fight a whole civil war and technically be correct because of the Bible, it's probably not that great of a religion.
Yeah, I would.
Morally speaking.
Yeah, me and my friends would never fucking support that side.
I mean, I don't think a lot of modern day conservatives would necessarily, but like when it comes down to it, they do use the Bible to argue a lot of really awful things.
Yeah, I understand. I feel like I'm probably not the right person to be in y'all's thing or whatever.
Hey, it was a good conversation and a good way to end the live on a high note, having a decent and reasonable conversation with someone. So I appreciate that at the very least. But hey, Robert, you have a good day and keep on being a good person. All right.
Yeah, happy holidays to y'all.
You too.
And I hope y'all have, great days ahead.
Will do.
I'm sorry I couldn't like pose more arguments. I don't know.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Have a good day, Robert.
Yeah, y'all too.
With that, everyone, we're going to send you over to Joel Reads the Bible. Moderators in the comment section, get the link and put it there for everyone. Either the YouTube or the TikTok, either way, send a link out so we can get people over there to follow. And while we're waiting for, I'll give you guys like 5 minutes to figure that out. While we're doing that, Ashland,
oh no. Can I have an A? Is it my name?
Fuck. Well, damn. I suck at this game. I was like, I'll give you 5 minutes, and she's like, oh yeah, let me just guess it immediately. How about them apples? Well, fuck me, I guess.
You never start with a vowel. You always guess vowels, so you find a word with the least amount of vowels as possible.
Oh boy. Gee whiz.
Yeah, there's tons of consonants.
Let's see. I guess this now is a moment for me to show off my talents to everyone while we're waiting.
What is this, guys? I don't know what the live has come to. Thank you everyone for being here. We really appreciate y'all. Yeah, and
Yeah, what she said.
obviously, the LGBTQIA, 2S LGBTQIA plus, y'all are affirmed. You're seen. You're valid. And yeah, we'll always stick up for y'all. But yeah, make sure to go to the Discord if you're interested in, just having a community, asking Dalton questions, asking the community questions, dropping your Bible resources, or if you just want to drop your pet pics. Remember, Dalton's Venmo and Cash App are in his link as well if you want to support the channel and doing more than that. Make sure to share out the live, like the live, do all the things, especially on YouTube, so you can help send out the algorithm. If you don't want to, contribute in the money kind of way, sharing the live also helps because he gets AdSense revenue.
Oh, and I gotta read super chats too. I gotta read super chats as well.
You didn't do it? Oh, I
almost
honestly
forgot.
for like 20 minutes I wasn't listening.
Yeah, so I'm gonna So I'm gonna make sure to read super chats as well. Real quick though, I did get a this was yesterday from Robin. Not gonna say your last name, Robin, but you'll know who you are. Who sent me $20 on PayPal? Thank you so much. With the message, let me see. What did Robin say? Thank you for what you do. Rock hard for Doug. So thank you, Robin, for that. And read some super chat. I got 2 super chats I'm going to read real
quick. Hey, at Trump failed. Ha ha ha. Caller is a walking war crime. I believe you're referring to the knives fella, or is it the it's the Bhakti. Bhakti is the walking the war crime, because like Bhakti would do horrible things if Yahweh asked them to. I think we've pretty much established that. And then at Hurry Shine with the £5. Hello, Governor. Loving Christians and so much body shaming, lies, avoidance of honest conversations, slurs, and little Christian love for fellow people. Make it make sense.
I agree. Make it make sense, people. How can you claim to be love thy neighbor as yourself and then call people fat and threaten them with hell? It don't make no sense. But anyways, everyone, I've been Dalton, the Bible guy. Remember, everyone, to keep reading, keep learning. Go and tell Joel reads the Bible that the Bible guy sent you, and have a wonderful day. Bye.
Like a sword of desire, ancient scrolls and cosmic flame. He tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the stars align. Knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell. He reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guy, seeker of the light. Through time and fire, he rides the night with reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guide. Scrolls of ages, words of flame.